So you're exactly right. I think just as you used to refer to it as osmosis. Osmosis alone would mean that the interaction with some of these international players would be a benefit to them. Now they're going full on the attack as two slips are now in position for the left armor. And a good delivery on the stumps, played back for no run.
But I also must admit that despite all the rain, the work that went in there, it's really commendable from all involved, and we're having a game of cricket.
Let's get away with this one. Loops over the top, and they'll actually come back for the second. That's a good aggressive piece of running there, because you don't always want to take on an international player's arm, but the youngsters choosing to do that. So double to close things out here in over number 1. Off and running, we are 6 without loss.
Things slowly warming up. That's a good start there for the youngsters. They saw the first over through from Samit Patel, and I was mentioning in the last over that it's just remarkable how after the amount of work that went in there yesterday and this morning, that we're starting on time here at Field 2, 2023 Atlanta Open T20, and the wicket, to be honest, doesn't look that bad. It's just that moisture, but the way the sun has come out and this very, very stiff breeze, I think it will quicken up and we'll have wonderful day's cricket, because today the weather is set fair for the whole day.
Absolutely. So taking the new ball now from the northern end of the ground is Ehsan Adil. Ehsan Adil off from a spectacular performance in the minor leagues where he and the Dallas Mustangs won the championship last Sunday. Carrying a bit of an injury for the last several weeks, but I think plenty good enough to open the bowling here. Very short, straight boundary. It looks like about 45 yards, Shah Faisal, so I don't think you'll see anything pitched up to any of these youngsters. Good delivery going through to wicketkeeper.
Yeah, Ehsan Adil's natural length is back of a length anyway.
This is true.
So he will just bang the ball into that surface. And although he had to be precise with his lines, because the dampness of the pitch means if he errs in line and provides the width, it will sit up to be hit by the batter's square of the wicket. So, but Ehsan is experienced and he is quality. We know that. Hails from Faisalabad in Pakistan. Played for Pakistan in World Cup cricket 2015 in Australia.
Short delivery, well handled in the end. Dropped down into the leg side for a single. Ehsan Adil. Not that it matters with regard to his cricket skills, but he just happens to be a really, really good guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. And he comes from a sporting family.
Say more.
His sister, I think, represents the Pakistan hockey team.
Oh, fantastic.
So he's a gentleman. I mean, he's tall, big like all fast bowlers, but he's very gentle off the field. He's a competitor as well. I mean, you get him in a battle and you can bank on Ehsan Adil that he won't give an inch away.
No question. So third ball of the over coming up now. Well handled. Generally bowls from very close to the stumps. Gets in right up, almost bowling wicket to wicket at pace, and moves it, as you mentioned, drops it usually short of length, but it moves off the seam in either direction. So he can absolutely be a handful. And again, to the point that we were making earlier, excellent experience for both Rishi Pandey and Viraj Vaghela to be matched up against such a competitor.
Yeah, indeed. And just a couple of balls ago, we saw that nip backer that Viraj was able to get a single, well watched by him. That's what the batters will have to watch out. Watch the ball till late onto your bat.
Swipe and a miss this time, going through to Shayan Jahangir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking and saying earlier in the over, that Ehsan doesn't need to stray from his line. So Rishi would think that there was an opportunity that went a begging. Ehsan wouldn't give you that many opportunities.
Exactly, and that flash outside off stump there is that fielder down on the boundary at deep third. That is Samit Patel himself. And then at fine leg. The two allowed outside the circle. Not surprising at that length and at that pace. That's where those two fielders outside the circle are. Good delivery. Now they go for a quick single. They'll get there in the end. That is Shehan Jayasuriya. Boy, the Kingsman X just have big name after big name after big name. There is no respite. But I'll tell you what, though, it presents a good opportunity. Number one, for the youngsters to be able to play with and against several of these big names. And then number two, the youngsters, the Atlanta Force, are playing with zero pressure whatsoever. If they lose this game inside 4 to 5 minutes, well, we just played a bunch of test players. We're supposed to lose. But if you excel in any form of the game, if you put together a good 35 or 40 runs or take a couple of wickets as an individual, or as a team you're competitive for a significant portion of the match, then that's just a bonus for you. Good delivery. They wanted a single, but not going to be there.
2 done, 8 for none. Talking about the lineup of Kingsman X, you have, it's well worth going through their lineup because
Absolutely.
you will recognize all the names that are there. Colin Munro, Ehsan Adil, Fawad Alam, Hasib Azam, Prasad Patel, Ravi Bopara, Samit Patel, Shahan Jahangir, Shahan Jayasuriya, Tejinder Singh and Ziaul Haq. Boy, some lineup.
Absolutely unbelievable. I would think the over-under on number of test players on this field, number of tests played by the players on the field right now, what would you say? 30?
30 to 50, I think.
In fact, probably 30 from Ravi Bopara alone, as this is clipped down.
Well, if you say international matches, I mean, include the white ball games, test matches, and then you're talking about hundreds.
Oh,
right?
if you include white ball, then you're certainly in the hundreds.
But interesting thing is, look, Samit Patel is bowling. He played for Nottinghamshire in the UK, which will be a lot cooler than this. But he's still taking benefit of the luxury that we have here in US, where we allow players to wear the hoodies because generally it doesn't get that cold here.
Right.
Surprised to see Samit doing it. He's played county cricket in April in UK. And it's a lot cooler than that, Brian. I'm sure you know it.
Oh, my goodness. That's Ziaul Haq, yet another Pakistani left armer who's played test cricket, coming in from mid-wicket.
International.
He played international. He played ODIs, didn't play any tests. Thanks for the correction. Looks for the big drive, missing through to wicketkeeper Shahan Jahangir. Still on the attack here. That's Captain Fawad Alam at slip. And then a gully in position and a backward point. That's Shehan Jayasuriya. So looking for that ball to leave the right-hander from the left arm spin, orthodox. Advancing down the track and going big. Look at this. That is 6 runs. That is an absolutely lovely looking strike. And Viraj Vaghela taking on Samit Patel and getting 6 of the best.
Yeah, great use of the feet. Viraj Vaghela just picked up the trajectory and the length very, very quickly. And look at that sharp footwork. 1, 2, and bang. Made a very sweet sound off the bat. And that will give him a lot of confidence.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, this wind.
Tries to force it off the back foot. Good comeback ball to end over number 3. 8 coming from the over. After 3, 16 without loss.
We're into the knockout stages of this tournament now. Quarterfinals. 2 have already started. Here at field 1, we're seeing 1, and to my left at field 1. They're about to start, and preparations right across on field 3 and 4 in final stages. I think they should be starting pretty soon as well. And it's a great weekend of cricket ahead of us. Some quality on display. If you're listening to this broadcast or watching it, and if you have time, please do head this way, because you're guaranteed to get some wonderful entertainment, some food around as well.
Absolutely. Ehsan Adil back for his second over. And by the way, my apologies. Earlier I said it was Viraj Vagela who hit that six. It was actually Rishi Pandey. So Pandey now 13 from 12 with the six. Viraj Vagela 3 from 7. But good, sort of not necessarily a blistering start by these youngsters, but taking some time to get settled. And I think in some ways just absorbing the moment that they're in.
Yeah, it's a decent start though. I mean, considering the wicket and the sense of the occasion, these two youngsters have really dealt with it, and they're making a good account of themselves so far.
Good delivery, going past the outside edge again. So we don't have a whole lot of evidence yet, but what are your thoughts on how the pitch has played so far? And again, we're only into the 5th over now, make that the 4th over. But what you've seen so far, what are your thoughts?
I mean, like I said, considering the weather, this pitch has played very nicely so far. Nothing untoward has happened. Bounce is pretty decent. We haven't seen extravagant movement of the seam. Just an odd nip backer from Ehsan, who has the ability to do that on any surface.
Yes.
And one more advantage we have is that we're square on.
Yes.
So something that we can definitely be sure about is the bounce.
Absolutely.
And it's been pretty even. I mean, odd ball has kept slightly low. It's not that too alarming. So yeah, I'll give huge credit to the organizers, to the curators here, to work so hard and get us some cricket going right on time.
Just tremendous. And after this ball, I want to say something about the umpiring crew too, because that's something that needs to be paid attention to. So it is Viraj Vagela again, 3 from 9 so far. Rishi Pandey 13 from 12 at the non-strikers end. Wave and a miss outside the line of off. About the umpires, the two umpires in this game, Brian Kane and Judson Edwards. Allow me to put on my cricket development hat for a second. These are two umpires who are as American as the day is long. And I mean, look, all of us who live here permanently are Americans. I'm American, so are you. But they are born in the United States, had no prior involvement with cricket until the point where they understood it enough to be interested in it, and they've learned the game so much to the extent that they're now both umpiring in a match of this magnitude. I think that is the most tremendous thing that can be said about the two umpires, who are both very good, but beyond that, they are, for me, part of the reason why cricket has a bright future in this country.
Agreed. As we watch this one squirted away to third man. Yeah, and I'll add in saying that the most incredible thing that you mentioned is that they had no prior involvement with cricket like all of us.
Correct.
We live here. We did have that background of cricket. And for them to have fallen in love with this game to an extent that they chose to do that. I've seen Brian like for years now.
Yes.
Judson Edward, I've just recently started seeing him, probably 12, 18 months now that I've seen him. And they're incredibly passionate, incredibly competent, and they just love their job, and the control and authority they have on the field is absolutely brilliant. And won't be surprised if you see them make the grades in a couple of years' time, and you see them at even bigger stage.
Fantastic. End of 4, 17 without loss. So 17 without loss, 2 overs bowled each by Samit Patel and Ehsan Adil. And now a change in bowling from the southern end. And this is going to be Hasib Azam. Tall, right arm pace bowler. Gets good bounce, obviously good pace. Played for the Houston Hurricanes his last minor league season and performed very creditably with the new ball for them. Now going to be taking the ball. Bowling to the two youngsters. First delivery coming from the southern end. Looking to work this off the back foot and just a dot ball there. So Hasib Azam, you've seen him for a while. What are your thoughts on him as a bowler?
Yeah, I've seen Hasib for a while. He hails from Attak in Pakistan. He's the brother of Hamad Azam.
Ah, I did
And
not
both
know
these
that.
brothers,
I did
yeah.
not know that.
And Hasib played for Rawalpindi, where I originally hail from as well. So I've known him for a while. Talented cricketer. He's a good batter too. He's a left-hander when it comes to batting. Tall, medium pacer.
Driven down the ground. That's going to run away for 4, I would think. Yep, makes it all the way to the boundary. So good, confident-looking stroke by Viraj Vaghela. Coming onto the front foot, slamming that one for 4.
Yeah, nicely played. See, that's a good testament to the wicket as well. It wasn't a half volley, but he can hit through the line. He did give himself some room.
Yep.
Try to access that offside, probably. Got a thickish inside edge, but this outfield, despite the rain, is very quick.
Outfield is quick and small. This one down the leg side. In fact, that may have just clipped the pad on the way through. So another dot ball.
Yeah, before the rain came, day before yesterday, I mean, we saw when it was quite warm and the outfield was dry, like you said, it's short, and the ball was flying to all corners.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So a score of 248 on this pitch.
Wow.
And then we saw that last ball thriller.
Oh,
Yeah, Shahzad hit.
yes.
Is that Shadley went shot quick for a 6. They needed 4 of the last delivery, and that went right down to the wire. So yeah, we've had a thriller here already and some high scores. Give it another hour and so, and I think it'll be back to its very best.
Absolutely. In the air, that clears the fielder at short mid-wicket. That may have the legs to get to the boundary. Nope, just pulled back. In fact, that's forward alarm down there in the boundary to pull it back. So 2 more runs. You mentioned Rawalpindi. Am I correct in assuming that that's also where Shoaib Akhtar is from?
Exactly, yeah. The Rawalpindi
So what
Express.
is in the water in Rawalpindi that creates these fast bowlers? You may have to tell me that.
I don't know, but people just love to bowl fast. And the current Pakistan team, Haris Rauf, is from Capital, which is the adjoining city to Rawalpindi. And he bowls at 150 clicks. Had a good game yesterday. And the reason behind it is tape ball cricket. I'll come back to it.
Helped away over the top. That's a good-looking shot. Gets inside the line, and that's Viraj Vaghela who goes onto the back foot. That is Ehsan Adil at short fan leg, not able to get anywhere close to that. So 4 more runs, and I'll tell you what, these 2 youngsters are putting on a good partnership here. Good account for themselves so far. 27 without loss with 1 ball to come.
Yeah, wrong line from Hasib. With fine leg up in the circle, you're asking for trouble. And trouble indeed was for him. 4 scored, and like you said, these 2 youngsters are not really blossoming, having spent some time in the middle.
Took a chance there, but they got away with it. Just for a split second, Shahin Jahangir whipped the glove off, took a shot at the stumps, but luckily for the batter himself, he got home without much fuss. Single to close things out. Over number 5 is done. 20 will make that 28 without loss.
Growing in confidence, these 2, Rishi Pandey. I've seen him bat in minor league before, and of course Viraj Vaghela is a very talented youngster, so they've really given a good account of themselves. Probably it's just about time where they'll be thinking they need to up the ante a little bit. Ehsan Adil continuing into his 3rd over. Very rarely we see an opening bowler bowled 3 overs of his spell out of his 4. Ehsan had done it yesterday as well. So Fawad Alam has come up with this plan where, unlike some other captains who like to keep chopping, changing in power play, so the batters couldn't line up a particular bowler, but Ehsan gives his captain that confidence that he secured 1 end for him during that power play, bowling 3 overs. Inside edge, it will run away very quickly down there. It's just about 50 yards in that direction. Not where he intended, but he'll take the boundary with Raj Vagela.
Yeah, certainly not where he intended. Looking to play that square, I think, through the backward point area. Thick under edge in that ball, beating James Vince, who's at short third and running away for 4. So once again, these youngsters, I think, starting out and starting to build in confidence. Back to Ehsan Adil for a second. I mentioned that he was carrying an injury. My sense would be, if I were to get inside the mind of Fawad Alam, I would think maybe he bowls 3, then maybe 4, possibly, and then he goes off and rests for a while. And I don't know exactly who the impact player is, but my sense would be that might be why you see Ehsan Adil bowling number 3 here.
Yeah, that jack back in. Yeah, you're right. And I know they're using Colin Munro as their impact player. See, since it's cold and his body is warm, I don't know if Fawad will keep him on for the 4th over as well and just attack from one end. And then Ehsan can go off and Munro can come in. Because in the previous game, Munro didn't field at all. And he just came out to open and smacked the bowling, chased the target in 9 overs, and off they went. And he was delighted about it. He said, I love this impact player rule. Well, this is once again not where he intended, but that thickish outside edge will give him another boundary. Was looking to go over cover on the up, but that bounce really defeated his stroke, and off the edge it ran away to the boundary.
Absolutely. You see here on the replay, looking to go over cover. In fact, maybe even looking to go down the ground. Just looking at that replay, he looked to have been aiming over long off. Thick outside edge.
Looking to ramp it. Just have to wait and see. Umpire Edwards just walks away, so no signal coming. 2 boundaries of this over so far from Ehsan Adil. Really, these 2 batters have looked largely untroubled.
Now, it does have to be said, Ehsan Adil, quick, not the quickest in the lineup. You still have Zia ul Haq, who has not yet bowled. You still have a couple of other bowling resources. Waka Salim, Asif Mahmood.
Yeah.
So a ton of bowling options. So I think you'll want to see. In fact, there we have now someone standing in the way. Some of the fans walking around are not necessarily familiar with the traditions of cricket, one of which is that you cannot stand behind the bowler's arm while he's coming into bowl.
Rising delivery once again. Ehsan, having got hit on the fuller delivery, wasn't going to pitch in his half again. Viraj, a couple of short pitch deliveries to close out the power play. 6 done, 36 for none. Very, very respectable start to the innings. I know it's not a typical T20 power play score, 36, but then no wickets have fallen. Considering what went on with the weather and the pitch, I mean, this is a very, very decent start. And now they'll be thinking, like Brian asked me a question at the beginning of the innings, that now they'll be thinking about a target. Since they've survived the first 6 overs with all wickets in hand, I still can't think what would be a good total on this pitch or what they'll be thinking, but at least I think 140 should be in their mind, the minimum, with all wickets in hand.
Well, they're right now scoring at the rate of a run a ball, as they go for a quick single here. So if you're scoring at the rate of a run a ball with every single wicket still in hand, you have to be thinking, look, we can accelerate past this point. So if you get the score, for example, to 8 and over, 8 and over gets you to 147. 8 and over would only represent 2 more runs per over more than what you have here with 10 wickets in hand. I don't know that you think or dream much bigger than that, because the quality of the opposition is such that they would be able to restrict you. But at least something in the range of 8 and over for me is what they should be looking at.
Yeah, I would think after the kind of start they've got, anything less than that, they'll be disappointed, as another run has been added to the total. And also, you just break down the innings into small phases, like a lot of T20 games. There's the power play, and then over 7 to 14 is a key phase where we've seen a lot of innings getting derailed, trying to achieve what's in their mind, and then they lose wickets and they fall short. So that is another challenge now that has started. Nicely played. He really picked up the length very, very quickly, and that's gone all the way.
Well, he picked up the length quickly, but I think the bigger issue here was the line that was too straight from Hasib Azam. The ball going into the pads of Viraj Vaghela, and he just pivoted. Just an elegant flick off of his legs and sailing away over square leg for the second 6 of the innings.
2 umpires have got together, not sure why. Are they changing their decision, or are they just double checking with the fielder, I think. And you will see that's umpire Brian just making sure that's the correct way to do it. Obviously we don't have the facility of the third umpire here, so Brian took his time and then double checked with the fielder, who gave him the nod that it is a boundary. So 2 runs.
But that's good communication for the umpires. We'll say more about that after this ball. That's important.
Slight hesitation. That fumble will allow them, though, to complete the run. Sanjay Surya, not as swift as some of the other movers in this Kingsman X side.
So back about the umpires. Initially, just the soft signal from umpire Judson Edwards at square leg was that it was 6, which is why Brian Kane initially signaled 6. But then they communicated with the fielders, took the fielders' word for it that it actually bounced before it got to the rope. So good change there.
Change of pace from Hasib Azam into the pitch, slow delivery. Through with the shot was Viraj too early, so Hasib has realized, and that is the first sign when you see a bowler doing that, change of pace into the surface. It means that the wicket is getting better for batting, so he needs to come up with some tricks of his own. Again, change of pace, really playing into the shot quite early there, Viraj, and good finish to the over from Hasib after giving away that boundary. Leg by signal to finish off over number 7, 44 for none.
The shot Faisal, 45 for none after 7, sorry. So to the point that you made, over 7 through 14 would be the stage where you're essentially looking to build, to accelerate towards the back end, still have 10 wickets in hand. Maybe you're thinking, you know what, we can get to 150, 160. It may not be enough against the pros, but my goodness, Let's see if we can at least make them work for this. Make them get out of second gear. Let them at least see if they get to third or fourth gear to try to beat us.
Yeah, exactly. This, like I said, the challenge for over number 7 to 14 is, suppose if you lose 3 wickets in power play, then it's the rebuilding phase. But then if you got away to a start with wickets in hand and not enough runs on the board, that's where players would start to aim for 8 to 10 runs in over. In those conditions in particular, 8 to 10 in this phase will really be a great result. And we got 9 in the previous over, so that phase they've really started off well. They need to continue and look for those 8 to 10 runs up until over number 14. In the air, it will fall safely, but in the gap, bouncing away for another boundary. Viraj Vaghela is really opening up now, and I think he's warming to the task.
Well, the current temperature is about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and a good stiff wind coming from the north, somewhere between 10 to 20 miles an hour. So there is a need to warm up, and warming up is exactly what Viraj Vaghela is doing. Dragging that one wide of Ziaul Hakat long on, getting it away for 4.
Prasad Patel bowled very impressively yesterday in one of the games. This one has been helped along, and that will go to the boundary as well. Back-to-back 4s. That's very, very clever piece of batting, just using the pace of Prasad Patel, and the placement was immaculate.
Getting inside the line now, 50 up with that boundary. That is the 7th 4 to go with 1-6. 53 without loss. Again, we're only 3 delivers make that, 3 delivers into over number 8. So your scoring rate is now up above 7 and over. So here's where you start building in confidence. Okay, we set little small targets. Now let's see if we can get to the point where we get another, somewhere around 160, 65 is actually realistic now.
It is indeed, and as we mentioned about the injury to Hassan Adil, I think he's left the field, and Colin Munro is on the field. He's at mid-wicket, just to the left of our commentary box.
So if you all would like to know the lottery numbers for tonight, feel free to message Shah Faisal and myself.
Yeah, but this is so heartwarming to see this opening partnership. 55 now, and following 9 from the previous over. They've got 10 already from this over, 9 rather, with 1 delivery to go. So they're building solid blocks now in this middle phase and looking untroubled. Once again, another wrong line and picked off really nicely. This time it's Rishi Pandey. Both the batters are really matching each other for stroke, and that is a good finish to the over. 13 off it.
My goodness. In
58
fact,
for none.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stroke here on the replay. Going down the wrong line again and immediately pouncing all over that. Rishi Pandey up to 23 from 17 with 2 4s and a 6. That is the end of over number 8. 58 without loss.
Well, the batters may be warming up, but it's getting chillier here in the comm box.
Oh my goodness.
Wind is really picking up, and like to move our chairs out into the sunshine, I think. But
Shah Faisal, I was born in Jamaica. I live in Texas. I do not like weather like this.
that is, yeah, not a good combo.
No.
In terms of cold weather, Jamaica and Houston. Well, Atlanta is not that cold this time of the year. It's all these English players, I think, they've brought cold
the weather with them.
Samit Patel in action. Now I think these big boys realize they're in the fight. So they're They'd have to do something special, or they need to warm up, I guess, because
Right.
once again moving right inside the line and picking off Samit Patel. This is the third boundary in 2 overs that we've seen through this shot, and both these batters have took a liking to that sweep shot.
Viraj Vaghela now racing ahead to 37 from 35 with 7 boundaries. So looking really good. These two openers do not seem in any way to be intimidated by the moment. And again, they can play with a certain amount of freedom because they're really, you think that they're not supposed to win this, and that liberates them.
Forcing Samit Patel to hide the ball outside the off stump, and that was too wide. Umpire Brian penalizes Samit Patel. Take that, Samit Patel. That was the reverse sweep. It won't run away though, but really toying with the bowling and fielding of Kingsman X. These two youngsters, Viraj Vaghela. Look at how audacious was that.
Reverse sweep. I didn't see that one on my bingo card. Wow, that is.
Now you see some noise in the middle there. You hear that from the Kingsman X. They realize that they need to pull up their socks and stop this partnership, or otherwise these two youngsters may start thinking about the unthinkable. 9 gone, 65 for none. Talking about English weather, another Englishman into the attack. This is Ravi Bopara, the all-rounder. He'll be mixing them up. Changes of paces. This one's gone in.
For 65, first wicket falls. Rishi Pandey holding out in the deep. Ravi Bopara, who you mentioned is a man with the golden arm, not a strike bowler, was never really a strike bowler, but always had a knack for picking up wickets in the middle overs. So playing the role that you'd expect him to play with the ball here, Ravi Bopara, former English all-rounder, taking the first wicket.
$65 for 1.
So now it will be interesting to see exactly how the remainder of this innings is constructed. So they've landed a body blow. So the youngsters from the Atlanta Force will know that, okay, we just lost a fabulous opening partnership, but we still have 9 wickets in hand. So how do we handle things from here onward? So this is now Landev Chauhan, who's at the wicket, right-handed batter facing up to Ravi Bopara. And the key here is just to continue. You don't need the reverse sweeps just yet, but the key is just to keep scoring. And if you're thinking from the standpoint of still picking up singles where we can, the field is spread out a little bit now because you're out of the power play. Just keep the scoreboard ticking and then reassess where you are.
You make a good point. That's the advantage of coming out at this stage of the innings. See plenty of gaps in the field, and strike rotation shouldn't be that difficult. That means that you allow the settled batter the opportunity to continue with the good work that he's building on to, and that is what the job of the new batter will be. Ravi Bopara won't make it easy for him, but that's the challenge for the youngster. Once again, that's good intent. Proactive in the crease, just going right back in it and realizing that he need to put bat to ball and knock them into the gaps.
And again, that's exactly what you're looking to do. Here we see on the replay, just getting inside the line and working that to mid-wicket. Acres of room here. Colin Monroe's on the boundary at long on, make that at cow corner. And then there's a deep square leg. Nobody else inside the circle in front of square on the leg side. So acres of space there for you to get singles.
Interesting to see the approach of Viraj Waghela now. In my opinion, he shouldn't do anything different to what he was doing previously. Chauhan has done the right thing. Got him back on strike immediately. But I just cannot stress enough on the kind of experience that these youngsters are getting from this contest. And the phases of the game that they will go through will make them so much better for their future. Is another dot ball. I definitely think something's going on in Viraj's mind at the moment, thinking ahead how he wants to plan his innings. And that thought process, when he looks back at it, will teach him quite a few lessons, no matter what the result is at this stage of this thought process. Mine is ticking, and you can see. That's good to see. Viraj gets a single, but excellent over from Ravi Bopara. And that run rate has been pegged back at the halfway stage. Atlanta 467 for 1.
So halfway through the inning, 67 for 1 is the score. Samit Patel with the ball in hand will be bowling his last over. Figures so far, 3 overs, none for 21. Brian Walters here with you as Shah Faisal is taking a much-deserved break. I'll be flying solo for the next couple of overs or so. Samit Patel again, 3 overs, a lofted drive down the ground. That's a good-looking strike. Wait for signal from the fielder to see where this went. Obviously either 4 or 6. In fact, there's a signal now from the fielder. And umpire Brian Kane, in the iconic method that he has of being able to signal his boundaries and his sixes, in this case, raises both of his arms emphatically. Another 6. And going in the same direction again. This one won't go for 6. Good piece of fielding down on the boundary. Wanted a second, not going to get it. But Viraj Waghela now up to 48, make that 47, and he has essentially monitored and shepherded things very well at the top of the lineup. Again, opening the batting, put a good partnership together to start the innings. And so far you see him put that partnership together with Rishi Pandey. And now looking to get started again with another good partnership. This partnership Goliath matchup. This is in the air. Simple catch. Oh my goodness, you have got to be kidding. You will never see a simpler catch. That is, I believe, Ravi Bopara, who is signaling that the sun was in his eye. My goodness. If one of the academy kids had dropped that catch, Coach Clayton Lambert would have made him run laps afterward. But this one, a pretty simple catch that was put down. And going big again down the ground, just a single this time. So, a life given to Viraj Waghela, 47 from 43. In fact, now 48 from 44 with that single down the ground. And again, about the simplest of catches that you would ever hope to see. Oh, appeal for a stumping. Umpire Judson Edwards immediately of the indication that that back foot was still inside the crease. So an exciting over, one that could have seen the second wicket fall. We see here on the replay. Just take a look at the back foot of Landev Chauhan. Cheyenne Jahangir was thinking that his foot was out of the crease. I think Judson Edwards got it right on that occasion. That is the end of over number 11, 7-7 for 1. Seven to 7 for 1. Ravi Bopara back into the attack. His second over. First one only went for 2 runs and he took a wicket. Starts out here with a dot ball. So again, started to say earlier that this is the David versus Goliath matchup, and David is punching well above his weight. 7 to 7 for 1. Oh, looks to work this one into the deep. Goes to backward square leg for a single that brings Viraj Vagela up to 49. It's just 1 run away now from a 50 by all rights. Even though he's batted really well, he can consider himself lucky to still be there because, again, that catch that really should have been taken by Ravi Bopara in the previous over. Yes, he's indicating that the sun would have been in his eyes, and that certainly would have contributed to it. But I think he will tell you that that really is a catch that should have been taken. Anyhow, now bowling to Landev Chauhan, 2 from 4, so just getting started. Quicker delivery and hammered. That's well played, but right to Shehan Jayasuri. In fact, yep, Shehan Jayasuri at backward point. And another dot ball. So you're into the stage of the innings now where you're starting to think about what is the back end going to look like. Just another 51 balls remaining. And that old sort of mindset that I've always mentioned where you double the score after 12 to see what the ending score is going to be. Advancing down the wicket, can't pierce that field. Fawad Alam applauding Ravi Bopara there because he just pulled the length back just a little bit. Saw the batter coming forward and pulling the length back to avoid the opportunity for runs there. Now, and earlier on, I had said it was Shehan Jayasuri at backward point. Shehan Jayasuri is actually on the boundary now at long off, so my apologies there. But dropping back on the boundary, sort of an indication that you're expecting these two to start attacking. Worked into the deep here, just Colin Monroe only having minimal amount of work to do so far. Once again, came in as the impact player. Ehsan Adil is off the field. Did his work with the ball and then choosing to go put his feet up. Probably have something warm because, again, it is really blustery and cold here this morning, even though it is bright and sunny, has to be said. Off the back foot this time, that is Shehan Jayasuri, the aforementioned. Gets a single down the ground, and that brings up his 50. What an absolutely brilliant effort here by the young Viraj Vagela. 50 from 47 with 7 fours and a 6. Scoring a 50 against a team of professional cricketers, essentially. So he'll remember this one for a long time. That is the end of over number 12, 80 for 1. So 12 overs bowled, 80 for 1. I mentioned that generally you think that if you double the score after 12, that will give you an indication of where you'll end up score-wise. Well, doubling the score from here would indicate that they'd get to 160, and I said earlier that I think that would be a good target for them. This is a very small ground, and again, you're playing against a bunch of professional cricketers. So, realistically speaking, even though anything can happen on a cricket field, you'd expect a team of professionals to overhaul a score in the range of 160. But, there's a reason why both teams get to bat and both teams get to bowl. And all you'll need when you bowl, if you're the Atlanta Force, is 10 good balls. This is Zia-ul Haq with the ball from the southern end. Left arm fast bowler. Played limited overs cricket for Pakistan for a while. Very accurate, and again has the advantage of being a lefty, bowling over the wicket, looking to curl this ball into the right-handed batters. Then again, he may not find much swing at this age or at this stage because that ball is now 12 overs and one delivery old. There has been a lot of moisture around, even though it's starting to dry up just a little bit. So you may not find much swing at this stage. So maybe you're just looking to find that angle going across. Oh, he chopped on. In fact, maybe he was not trying to find an angle or anything. Maybe he was just trying to hit the top of middle, because that's exactly what he did here. A good-looking delivery from Zia-ul Haq. And that is the end of the day with the bat for Landev Chauhan. Looking to play this off the back foot and not exactly getting in line. Looking at the replay here. Left arm over the wicket. And in fact, my apologies. He actually inside edged that onto his stumps. Didn't pick that up live. The ball was a little bit outside the line of off. And looking to play this off the back foot through the offside, and there you see that inside edge and taking out middle stump. So the second wicket goes down. Certainly something that you don't want to have happen, but you're also acknowledging the fact that you're playing against high-skilled professional players. And Viraj Vaghela still at the crease, non-striker, 51 from 48, 7 fours and a 6. He's now joined at the wicket, I believe, by the captain, Chad Hamilton. We'll confirm that as soon as we can. Yep, that is exactly who's at the wicket. Chad Hamilton is the captain, and he's the wicket keeper. He's now joining his opening batter, Viraj Vaghela, 51 from 48, 7 fours and a 6. So good partnership that was put on there. 65 for the first wicket and 81 for the second. So, the score is 81 when the second wicket fell. So that gives you a sense of how well those two did. Chad Hamilton, left arm or left-handed batter, looking to play this one from Zia-ul Haq. So different challenge being offered here by Zia-ul Haq. The left armer bowling into the left-handed batter, looking to slant the ball into him. And so that means if you're Chad Hamilton, you're looking to see how you can maintain something close to the scoring rate that was experienced by the opening batters and by Landev Chauhan. Current scoring rate is 6.48. Zia-ul Haq again, looking to work this away down the leg side. The ball going down the leg side, so it's going to be a wide. And Zia-ul Haq may consider himself lucky is off the mark. And it happens to be that instead 4 runs coming from it, and a wicket. At the end of 13, the score is 84 for 2. So 84 for 2. You're down now to the last 42 deliveries. And Ravi Bopara, who's bowled 2 miserly overs so far, 1 for 5 are his figures. Now bowling to Viraj Vaghela, 52 from 50. So he'll talk about this innings probably for the next 20 or so years. Facing up now to Ravi Bopara. Down the leg side. In fact, this may be bonus runs. Don't think that, yeah, there's a signal there from umpire Judson Edwards that went down the leg side, and they run a bonus run to boot. So 2 runs already with no legal deliveries yet bowled in this over.
Yeah, and talking about Vaghela's 50, it's exactly what we talked about at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
1 or 2 shining performances.
Absolutely.
Will really be remembered for a long time by these youngsters, and it will really give them that confidence to have done it against such big names. They would feel like they can do it in future, and they can do it against anyone.
Absolutely.
That's the benefit of these competitions as well. And I'm so delighted to say that I've observed that so many youngsters are coming through, and they're playing these competitive tournaments with regular, throughout the season here in American cricket calendar.
Quicker delivery. Ravi Bopara, known for essentially taking pace off just about every delivery, but this one he fires through at pace. Chad Hamilton just working that to mid-off. Ziaul Haq in that position.
Yeah, and the point that I'm making is that the next generation of cricketers that are born and raised in this country is going to be taking the standards to the next level, because the bar is set so high with these tournaments. They're coming into it, and they're expected to not only match the standard, but because they're young and they have the whole career in front of them, they can really take it to the next level. And Viraj Vaghela, I don't want to say it's too early, but remember the name.
Remember the name, Ian Bishop.
Oh,
I saw a picture this morning of Ian Bishop and Dwayne Bravo. I'll say more about that in a second. Okay, so Ian Bishop appeared to have been somewhere around, he's 1 year older than me, so he's 56 now. He looked like he was about 26. So that would mean that Bravo was somewhere around 10 years old. It was the most interesting picture. So obviously those two from the same country, Trinidad and Tobago, have known each other for a very long time.
I saw that too, and Bishop, probably in his playing days, was having his kit bag in his whites, and Bravo just looking at him as his hero, obviously. And then
my goodness,
now you talk about these two. This is in the air, and it has carried to the fielder. It's a little confusion there. Hamilton, who's really strong in that area generally, couldn't time it. It looked like a top edge and just went straight up in the air, and he has been removed. That's a big scalp, because Hamilton could be really dangerous in these final overs.
Certainly a big scalp. It appeared as though he didn't time it properly and didn't exactly, the flourish that you'd expect to see with that shot was not there. So didn't put enough in it. We're a little bit far from obviously where that went, and then the field slopes in that direction. So it was hard to see where his footing was, where his feet were, that fielder deep backward square leg. But the umpires were convinced enough that he was inside the rope, far enough inside the rope to complete the catch. So, big scalp as you mentioned. The captain himself goes. Chad Hamilton, only 2 from 6. We'll be disappointed with that. And now, Ravi Bopara, by the way, has now taken another wicket. So, You're getting the results that you expect from the man who has the golden arm.
And interesting, yesterday when Ravi Bopara came to bowl in one of the games, the opposition was down like 60 for 6, and he just tried and bowled all over the place. He was probably working on his variations or whatever, and he conceded 18 runs in 2 overs. And today, when his team really needed him, he's come to the fore and he's bowled 2.4 overs, just 9 runs, but more importantly, 2 wickets as well. So that is the kind of players that they rise to the occasion. And Kingsman X is probably the team that you need to watch out for, because they have the potential to go all the way in this championship.
Boy, the two Kingsmen teams, Kingsman and Kingsman X, on paper you would think are the two most powerful teams left in this tournament. So the new batter is going to be Nitish Sudhini. 2 deliveries left in this over. Oh, looking to play that away on the leg side. Q end off the bat, so ends up not going anywhere. Ravi Bopara again bowling a really, really good spell so far. 1 ball remaining here in his 3rd over. 2 wickets already on the board and has not yet conceded 10 runs. So great going from the former English all-rounder. And I think you're starting to see now that the Kingsman X is starting to maintain or regain control over this game. Go for a quick single. They'll get there without much fuss. And that is the end of over number 14. A successful one for the Kingsman X. 5 runs coming from that over, but again, a wicket taken by Ravi Bopara. At the end of 14, the score is 89 for 3. So 89 for 3. You're down to the last 6 overs, the last 36 legal deliveries. Where might you end up? Earlier we talked about 160. Well, a couple of very, very miserly overs. The last 5 overs have only gone for 24 runs. So the scoring rate has gone in the opposite direction from what you'd wanted from the Atlanta Force. To get to 160, you'd now need to go at 12 and over, which may just be unrealistic, I would think.
See that phase of 7 to 14? 3 wickets fell, and although the scoring was good initially, it's been packed back lately. As we watch the Owl Huck come back in, 36 was the score after 6 overs. So 89 it was after the end of over number 14. Slight discrepancy in the score. It's been moved now to 92 for 3. We'll keep an eye on that. But the point I'm making is that fall of wickets really derails the momentum. And now, although the platform is set and Vaghela is set, but he's got a new batter with him. And that means that Vaghela's role once again takes another twist. What does he want to do? He wants to carry bat till the end, or he just start going all guns blazing now, since he's been there from the beginning. But because he's got a new batter with him, he just cannot take too many risks and get out and leave 2 new batters. Even in T20 cricket, it's hard to believe that there's so many phases that comes and goes so quickly. That will require you to make decisions. Chance there, chance, another fumble. Chance at the non-striker now, but nothing happening. Just a single, and the right result, I think, has happened. well, but don't take undue risks. That is the challenge at the moment Vaghela is having. He's batted beautifully, though, you have to say, and had a good strike rate.
Yeah.
Just more than a run a ball. A couple of big overs for him, really. Could really propel him into high 70s and his team into a decent total.
So last ball of over number 15 from Ziaul Haq. Played off the back foot. That is just a single in the deep. Single taken where Prasid Patil cleans up. One closes out over number 15. A miserly over again, though. 4 runs coming from it. And the end of 15, the score is 93 for 3.
So that 4, it wasn't a 4, right? That they added somehow.
Yeah.
Atlanta Open T20 2023, the 3rd edition, quarterfinals day. And the Atlanta forced 93 for 3 with 5 overs to go. Vaghela is key here against the experience of Ravi Bopara. Still content to just stroke the ball into the gaps and rotate. When the opportunity arises, he's not been shy to put the bad balls away. This has been a good innings. He would need support from Nitesh here in the remaining phase of this innings.
I think that's right. And again, we talked about how he's batted with responsibility. And the way that you do that, at least evidence of that responsibility, is, yes, if you get a ball going down the leg side or too wide, then you throw the kitchen sink at it. But he knows that you want the scoreboard to keep ticking. So it's so important to keep punching the ball down the ground. The good balls that you can just get singles off of, that's also a very important element.
But the thing is, at the beginning of the game, what we were thinking about it being a mismatch certainly hasn't been. Obviously, there is a mismatch of pedigree.
Yes.
But the talent that the Atlanta Force had, youngsters, they've really fought hard, and it is not the contest that you'll really call it a mismatch. So far, it's been intense, and the skill on offer from the Atlanta Force batters that we've seen, they're very well capable. And with time, who knows? We're seeing some big names in the making.
That's exactly right. The confidence for me is what
get 2 runs. He really had to check his stroke at the last minute because he was through the shot, almost through the shot before the ball arrived.
Yeah, that's a good description of it, as you said. Almost like he played about a week too early. That ball nowhere, or the bat nowhere near. Coaches will tell you to play that ball under your eyes. Nothing at all like that. But he gets away with it and gets a couple more runs to boot.
This is where they can improve slightly. This was onto his body. There's only one fielder in that ring, and he just hit it straight onto him. Just play a little late, drop it further squarer, and you can just rotate the strike. Little things, just subtle things that you learn with experience. This is in the air and taken. Very, very nicely taken there, this catch. It was going over his head with swirling winds as well. But Nitesh's knock has come to an end. He had to take the chance. You can't blame him for doing that. It's just the execution let him down. And Bopara gets another wicket.
Ravi Bopara closes out his spell with his 3rd wicket. 4 for 13 from 4 overs. That ball sliced off the outer edge, and Waka Salim running back from backward point, takes a good catch. That is never easy, running away from the play and catching a ball over your shoulders. That is a high level of skill showed here by Waka Salim. So a pretty simple catch put down by Bopara, and that's the opposite end of those catching spectrums, if you will. A good catch here by Waka Salim closes things out in over number 16, 96 for 4.
Aryan is the next batter, but he will be at the non-striker end. Viraj will take strike. I think it's just about time where Viraj would decide that he needs to do something himself, because he's losing partners with regular intervals after that opening partnership. He's knocked the ball into the gaps, not taken any undue risks, especially after the 10th over mark since the wicket started to fall. But now I think with just 4 overs left, is it time for him now or never? Hasib Azam starts off with the wide, which will be very welcomed by the Atlanta force. Runs have been difficult to come by in the last 4 overs.
Well, the scoring rate has fallen all the way down to 6.06. 97 runs on the board, so obviously to get to 160 you would have been looking for a scoring rate of closer to 8 and over. Not able to get there. Hasib Azam back in. Starts with a couple of wides though, so a little bit loose to start things here. And this is 3rd over, 2 overs so far, 20 runs conceded, so it's been a little expensive. Starting out with these 2 wides. Aryan Tamala, the new batter at the non-strikers end, spent time this year with the Dallas Mustangs. So yet another member of the championship-winning minor league team. And the experience that he got not only from playing with the Mustangs, but here against the Kingsman X will be good.
Nice strike in the gap. That will run away. A much-needed boundary. And it's that man once again, Viraj Waghela, finds the boundary when it was needed the most, and that has brought up the 100 as well.
Yeah, a half tracker, gentle half tracker, not much going for that delivery, only bouncing really up to waist height. You're not going to trouble any batters with that, and that just put away elegantly, well in front of square too, almost went to mid-wicket. So good positive stroke there by Waghela.
Oh, Hasib Azam, this is his 3rd wide. Shayan Jahangir has been kept busy on that occasion. Even he couldn't do anything about it. That's 5 runs, 5 valuable runs.
5 bonus runs. Well down the leg side. Shayan Jahangir is an excellent keeper, but his left arm would have needed to have been about 10 feet long to get to that one. 5 bonus runs that you don't expect to see from bowlers with the caliber of Hasib Azam and the rest of the bowling attack. You don't expect to see that type of loose bowling. But these are bonus runs that you'll absolutely accept. 2 or make that 11 runs already from just 1 legal delivery in this over.
Yeah, that is expensive stuff. Hasib Azam has gone for 30 now. Into his 3rd over, just 1 legal delivery, like Brian said. Crucial runs. Well, he's gone on to the onside now. Was looking for 2 initially, but I think it went straight to the fielder.
Yeah, anything right down the ground. Essentially, it's just going to be 1 or a boundary, because the boundaries down there are very small. The straight boundaries, my unofficial estimate would be around 50 yards. So it either goes directly to the fielder or you get a boundary for it. It's going to be difficult to hit a ball straight down the ground and get 2.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. It is 50, I think, 30-yard circle, and then It's hardly 15-20 yards after that. So on both sides though, the straight boundary. Although some of the pockets are quite big. Extra cover where Aryan is playing now. Once again, Hasib struggling with the wind, I think. It's once again given a wide. This will be frustrating for skipper Fawad Alam. Although he had many options to go to, but he's persisted with Hasib Azam.
Aryan Tamala not yet with a legal or a run scored, but just working this one now into square leg. Gets off the mark, always a good feeling.
Yeah, but once again, that line from Hasib. It's a very strong wind that should be aiding his in swing, but he's failing to control that. He's really struggling with that. This is where Waghela is looking at. This is a hit with the wind if he can connect one. But that is a good delivery. That is spot on from Hasib Azam. Right into the block hole. And like Brian said, when that ball goes towards mid-on or even slightly towards mid-wicket, there's no chance of 2 runs.
Yeah. So just 2 balls remaining now on over number 17. Waghela up to 62 from 57. His role is going to be crucial, of course. The scoring rate, we are right on the stroke of Halloween. The scoring rate is 6.66.
Oh, and the score is Nelson's 1-1-1.
Exactly. How many times have you ever seen that happen?
Oh, that was a great coincidence. Although we've moved on to now to 1-1-2.
But just freeze that moment in time. We
Exactly.
absolutely would have wanted to see that. Scoring rate 666, score 1-1-1. And where were you when that happened?
At the Paramveer Cricket Complex.
Oh my goodness. So
On a cold and blustery day. I didn't bring a jacket too.
I didn't even realize that.
I got a blanket in my car. I'm going to get it in the innings break, Brian. I'm going to get it. As with this one is again straying on 2 straight there. Hasib has really struggled in this over, although to his credit, he stopped the flow of boundaries, given away too many wides, but the ones that he did get right were in good areas, so batters couldn't do much with it. Still, that return of 35 of his 3 overs with probably 1 delivery to go is a very, very expensive one.
Interesting.
Again,
This might be a bonus ball.
He's shouting and the finger's gone up. Aryan is a bit surprised, but umpire Brian has raised his finger and Aryan will have to walk back. Quite a few wide deliveries in this over and a little discrepancy over the last delivery of the over as well. But that has sent the marching orders for Aryan, who's been caught behind. Shayan Jahangir takes the catch and an expensive over from Hasib comes to an end with a wicket.
So we'll see here on the replay, and as you mentioned, there may have just been a discrepancy. This might be a bonus ball, but either way, that doesn't matter. Back to the delivery itself. Full and draws Aryan Tamala forward, going for the drive, looking to play that through the leg side actually, looking to play that to mid-wicket. And the peel, Brian Kane thinking about it and then raising the dreaded finger. So that's the 5th wicket down. 3 to go, 112 for 5.
It's a strange delivery because he just missed it and it still missed the leg stump. So he was showing the bowler all 3 stumps. It went between his bat and pad. Did it clip something along the way? Did it clip that back pad along the way or inside edge? We won't know from here, but Brian thought long and hard and then raised the finger. And that is how it will stand. 1-1-2 for 5. Viraj Waghela, the lone man standing in the middle with 3 overs to go. His job isn't getting any easy. Now he'll have to contend with Ziaul Haq. he'll be steaming in from the top end of the ground. Unlike Hasib, Ziaul Haq bowled 2 very impressive overs. He's sharp through the air and off the wicket.
Left arm quick, of course. Bowling from the northern end of the ground. And a bit of wind, even though it has to be said, the wind has calmed down just a touch in the last several deliveries. But
thankfully.
Thankfully, yes. So look to see how Viraj Vaghela attacks from here. 63 from 58 with 8 fours and a 6. You're down to the last 18 balls. And I think you realize that there is an opportunity here to get some runs, but you have to cash in.
Shot and wide. Fielder's getting underneath it and taken. Finally, Viraj's innings has come to an end. He had no options but to go for the bowling. He tried, and Ziaul Haq cleverly bowled him that delivery. That was too high. Very difficult to control from such height, and he paid the price for it, but not before playing a splendid hand for his side.
Played a splendid hand. I think you'll see on the replay that he plays this shot from having jumped to reach this ball. Look at this. He's off his feet right there. He's off his feet when he plays that. If he had to do this over again, I think he stays grounded, and the umpire at square leg, Brian Kane, in all likelihood would have signaled that to be wide. But when you're jumping, obviously when you're off the ground, you have no power. There's no ability to put power into that shot because you've given up your leverage when you jump. So that makes it a much more difficult shot. And again, here we see on the replay.
The other thing is he had other options as well. Shorter boundary at third man.
Yep.
He could really have just gone on and just slice it or just ramp it.
Yep.
And with the pace, it would have taken it away. That boundary is a big boundary towards point, where he tried to smash it and get all the power generated by himself. But if he had just ramped it, I mean, he would have used the pace towards the shorter boundary. We watched this, but it's really hard to be critical of the young man.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, he played beautifully as we watch in this cold weather. This kind of blow against the pacey Ziaul Haq. Romario will be feeling the pain.
Romario King suffering the indignity of being hit middle stump. Not going to ever want to have that happen to you, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a comfortable feeling. And for some reason, it always makes the players around laugh. There's nothing funny about that when it happens. And unfortunately, he'll be down for the count for probably several minutes here.
And that's the reason I give it long and hard thought that why does it happen? And then I know, and for a fact I agree with it, that since everyone who's played that game has had that moment in themselves.
Yes.
So and they're just smiling in relief that thankfully this time it's not them.
It wasn't them.
So I know it's not nice. No excuses, but
None.
you know,
yeah.
that is how it is. And whoever's played this game, I think most of us have gone through this.
Yes.
Whatever Romario King is going through right now. But just on a lighter note, I mean, this championship has been brilliant. And if you're watching this broadcast as things are warming up here, as we will watch this replay one more time.
And again, hate to laugh. Oh yeah, that just does not.
Ziaul Haq likes to bring the ball into the right-handers, and
Yep.
he first delivery, first up, that was right on the money.
Yep.
And I was just saying, like, if you want to head this way, I mean, there's plenty of entertainment around, and with this weather, not just the cricket, but you can enjoy the weather and also enjoy some great food here. And you have variety of food. Me and Brian, we had some jerk chicken yesterday. That was great. And
Come to
that
Miss
truck.
Beverly's food truck right here over at field number. What field is that?
Field 4.
Field 4.
Towards the end of that. And right to where we are at field 2, you got Ayu's Barbecue Nation. You want some chicken tikka, chicken tandoori, lamb chops, you name them. chicken tikka, skewers with a paneer tikka, and all the options for veggie and non-veggie dishes. I mean, you can come here, enjoy that.
Bring a blanket though.
Bring a blanket. Or just get in the sun. Don't look for shade today. Today is not one of those days where you don't want any shade.
Boy, I did so many matches this year, Shah Faisal, where we were at either the Prairie View Cricket Complex or Grand Prairie, where in the shade the temperature was 110 or 112 degrees. I don't know that I wish that I was still there, but it certainly does make a difference that the temperature now is about less than half of what those temperatures were earlier in the year.
Well, I know Major League Cricket, that was extreme heat.
Ah, yes.
And it was all the more incredible the kind of attendances we got despite that heat. That was really a grand success.
Oh my goodness.
Ziaul Haq once again on the money. He's really not giving any room to the batters. Umpire Edward signals a leg by.
And it has to be said, looking at the replay, this is a very tentative approach here by Romario King, but you cannot fault him because there he knows that it's a similar type of delivery that caused him some significant pain one delivery earlier. So you'd expect for him to be a little bit tentative, looking to force that one off the back foot, ends up with a leg by.
Look at that. That is some strike and some response from Romario King. In fact, it's Danish. And taking Ziaul Haq downtown. One of the rare.
To get to the pitch of that ball, lovely looking strike. This one just worked down into the offside for another single. So a couple of good, a passage of play here that you're looking to try to build something that has momentum towards the back end of the innings. So far, Danush Kaverapakam has been able to start pushing in that direction.
Well, that first target that they would have thought about, 120, that has been reached with a little over 2 overs to go. Once again charging down the wicket, this time straight to mid-off. And that is the wicket. Ziaul Haq once again getting a wicket. Got the wicket to start off the over, and then he got another wicket to finish off the over.
Yeah, that was struck directly to Fawad Alam. Hit hard, hit firmly, flat. Is the end of 18. Score is 120 for 7.
Two overs to go. That man Danush is on strike. He's already had one big six. Hasib has been given the ball again. Skipper showing a lot of trust in him. Danush has carded this away straight to Samit Patel, just right in front of our commentary box.
I just noticed that Samit Patel is maybe 45 yards, well, 40 yards away from the the pitch. Did he just throw that back in right-handed? Is he ambidextrous?
Well, he bats right-handed, and he bowls left-handed.
Left arm. He threw that from 45 yards with his right hand.
Just nonchalant too. He's just like flicked it. Just give it a flick, and it went all the way to the wicketkeeper.
That is. We may have to have a look at that again. That was amazing.
Straying down again. Another wide. He's given away quite a few extras, and he's really struggling with his run-up and the wind. A very strong wind.
Yeah, Hasib was looking to work something out here.
That was a Yorker length delivery. Just a subdued appeal there from Hasib and the wicketkeeper.
Okay, so here, take a look at this again. Play it down to Samit Patel. He's a left-arm bowler, picks it up with his right hand and fires it back to the keeper's end from 45 yards away. That is absolutely amazing.
Running hard, these two, but just a single. That push that really was due in the last 5 overs from the Atlanta Force, it hasn't come. A lot of credit to them. They built a platform and gave themselves a chance, but the experience and guile of the Kingsman X side, that was too much for the youngsters. That final push never arrived. They tried their best once again, looking to be innovative, but the boundaries, the floor boundaries that was required to push that total to 140, 150, or even at 160 at one stage.
Yep.
That hasn't happened.
Once again, you're matching up some really good academy players who will be superstars 5 to 10 years from now, you would think. But they're playing against, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh, I was not expecting that. That was the reverse commentator's curse, because that was in the slot and absolutely drilled over long on for 6.
Hasib has been struggling with his line, and on odd occasion when he got the length right into the block hole, this one was just in the slot, cleared that front leg, and it went all the way.
That is a great strike down the ground.
130.
So 130 with 7 balls remaining. Do they have the outside chance to get to 150?
Once again, deep in the crease, Hasib finds the right length again. In between those wides, he has bowled some good Yorkers. And that will close out his spell. His work for the day for this game, because we might see him in action again. It's 45 runs for 1 wicket off his 4 overs. 1 to go, 131 for 7. Six deliveries to go. 131 for 7. Atlanta Force, they fought hard. They've given a good account of themselves. Can they finish it with a flourish to give the all-stars of Kingsman X a really stiff target, or at least a target that they would have to work hard for? Ziaul Haq has been superb. 3 for 15 so far, and he will be closing out the innings from the north end of the ground. Strong wind has knocked off the bail, I think. Umpire Brian rather will just go up there and do that. I don't know if they're carrying the heavy side of bail that they normally do in England and other places. I don't think so.
I do not know that to be the case, but obviously with the wicket or the winds picking up from the Sort of northeast. That's always going to be a concern the rest of the day. So when you're playing, and let's see if you did the same thing as we did when we were playing with windy conditions, how did you prevent the bails from blowing off?
Few things, like I said, either a heavier side of bail or just little pebbles.
That's
'cause we
exactly what
didn't
I was going to point out.
play on lush green outfield, so there will be plenty in offing. So you just put one in the groove just beside the bail, just to give it that extra bit of support, not to get blown away. Top edge, it will run away. Monroe gives the chase, but in vain. And a much needed boundary at the beginning of the over. Ziaul for once just errs in line and allow Nasik to just use the pace.
Absolutely. From around the wicket, slanting it down. From that angle, it's always going down, so it makes it an easier hit. Just getting inside.
And immediately pulls it. I think they've given a good account of themselves. They would be thinking that at one time they were in position to get to that 150, but whatever they end up with, I think they should be pretty proud of that. Moving right inside, there you go. Some strike there from Nasik Khan. That is a magnificent strike and an intelligent piece of batting from the youngster.
He walks across his crease, gets the length that he was looking for, and lofts it. Look at this. Walking across, accessing the leg side by walking over toward the offside, and the length was perfect for him to elevate under that ball, and helping it over fine leg for yet another 6.
So that second target of 140 has been reached.
Yep.
Now 150 would be real icing on the cake. Well, 2 deliveries to go.
It would
9
be
of 2.
amazing if he got to 150.
Running hard, Monroe is a long way away from this. Just gets to the ball at the 30-yard circle, and they have come back for the second. Excellent running, and this is turning out to be a fantastic over for the Atlanta Force.
Oh my goodness, yes. So 12 from the over so far. The last ball is coming up. You have 143 on the board. Again, just those little targets that you've set for yourself along the way. First, you got to 120.
Seven, an expensive over from Ziaul Haq, but some clever batting, and they have really given a good account of themselves, and they should be very proud of this total. 147 for 7.
Goodness, there you saw on that replay. Just stepping inside the line again, just walking all the way over to the offside, exaggerated movement, and that gives you the opportunity to get some runs. So here we see on the scorecard, this is excellent. Viraj Vaghela setting the tone at the top. 63 from 59. Good help from Rishi Pandey, 23 from 16. A few single-digit scores, but then a flourish towards the back end. Nasik Khan ends up 24 and 2 6s, and Danush Kaveri Pakam helping him out there, 9 from 4 with a 6. So all of a sudden, the Atlanta Force, again, they're an academy side playing against professional team, the Kingsman X, have gotten 147 runs. Here we see the bowlers. What do you see here?
And this is what Brian was mentioning. Look at the names in that bowling lineup. Samit Patel, no wickets today. Ehsan Adil also bowled well, but no wickets. Pick out the bowlers definitely was Ravi Bopara with 3 for 13. Ziaul Haq, prior to that last over, which went for 16, had only given away 15 in his first 3 overs. 3 for 31 was amongst the wickets. But look at that count of extras, 18, way too many from Kingsman X. But that target of 147 is a very, very good effort from Atlanta Force. And when they come out to defend it in just about 10 minutes,
Welcome back to a chilly, blustery Atlanta Open at the Paramvera Sports Complex in Cartersville, Georgia. The Kingsman X will be coming into bat, chasing down the total of 148. They'll do that with opening batters Cheyenne Jahangir and Colin Monroe. Abigna Vijapurapu will be bowling the new ball from the northern end of the ground. 148 you would not think would be a great challenge for the Kingsman X, but would be about a consistent 20 miles an hour with the wind. And it is coming in from the northeast. So as you see on your screen, the bowler is coming from the north, so the ball would be helping his bowling with the wind at his back. Stroke through the offside for 4. Very aggressive start. Cheyenne Jahangir has never met a ball that he does not like to hit. And he bangs this one away through the offside for the first scoring shot of the day. You're looking to overhaul a total of 48. So 148 as your target does not see to keep the batters quiet. So just now 2 balls remaining here in over number 1. Target of 148 means that you need to be scoring at the rate of 7.24. Hammered away into the deep. Just falls short of the fielder down here at the boundary. Tell you what, that just landed just one bounce. Nasik Khan in the area. Did well to prevent the boundary. In so doing, concedes just another run. And that now brings Colin Monroe onto strike. Colin Monroe, of course, So 9 runs come from the first over. Once again, your target is 148, so another 139 to go. And this is going to be Rishi Pandey. No, in fact, it is Akil Poza who's bowling from the southern end of the ground. Scorecard says something different, so we'll determine who this is just shortly. First delivery to Shayan Jahangir. Defender for no run. Okay, so Akil Poza is in fact the bowler. Scorecard says Rishi Pandey. That's not accurate. It's actually Akil Poza. Good delivery to start out with for the first ball, but the second one is drilled down the ground. A diving piece of work down there by the fielder to keep, in fact, saving 3 runs. That's good work. The ball was struck right down the ground. Shayan Jahangir probably thought he had a 4 initially, but that's good work to limit the damage. A good sliding stop by the fielder down there and prevents the ball from going into the boundary. So once again, if you're defending a low total, everything that you can do in the field to create pressure is something that helps you in this case probably a difficult opportunity to try to win this game, but if you're going to do it, it's going to mean that you have to field and bowl very effectively. That's drilled. Oh, good diving stop at short mid-wicket. Nasir Khan in that position has saved one down on the boundary in the first over and now does well to prevent this one from getting through him at mid-wicket, and that in all likelihood would have gone away for 4 because there's nobody in the deep past mid-wicket. Understand, of course, we're still inside the power play overs. So in the power play, you can only have 2 fielders outside the circle, and no one is outside the circle in the deep. Hammered over the top. That's going to run away for 4 or 6. It goes away for 4, I believe. There's a signal from umpire Brian Kane. So this one is pitched up, looking to get some action, wanting to see if there's any swing on offer. Did not find any swing, and Colin Monroe cashing in on a ball that was outside the line of off, elevating it over the top for a boundary. So a good over overall, it has to be said, but as of this stage, that boundary that was conceded means that Colin Monroe now off of the mark and looking to cash in on a couple of scoring opportunities, and he goes big again. This one is hit with more purpose. You may have heard that ball slamming into the side screen because that ball never got higher than 10 feet above the ground, but it slams into the side screen for a massive 6. And it does mean with that strike that the absolutely pleasurable experience of commentating next to my good friend Shah Faisal continues. Good afternoon, Shah Faisal. You look a little bit warmer, warmer now than you did before.
Good afternoon, Brian. Good afternoon, all. Yeah, I had to take some measure. Yeah, I got the blanket out. Heating up the things in the middle is Colin Monroe.
Drop down into the offside for a single. They run through and get 1. 13 come or make that 12 comes from over number 2. 21 the score. 2 overs up. We'll be right back.
Shayan Jahangir and Colin Munro, two formidable players. Colin Munro has got the strike.
Looking to force this off the back foot. Oh, he finds the outside edge of the bat, and a brilliant piece of keeping by the wicketkeeper captain Chad Hamilton. Thick edge, keeping up to the keeper, keeping up to the pacer, coming off the edge of the bat. A thick edge, so it deflected tremendously, but he ricocheted up into the air and completed the catch. Umpire Judson Edwards agreeing that that was in fact an edge, and look at this. First wicket has fallen.
And this one, another of those big moments that we talked about earlier in the game. Abegna starting off with a slightly wide delivery, got lucky there, but Hamilton, there's no luck involved there. He really followed the line of the ball and took the catch on the second attempt, but that first attempt was good enough to allow him that second opportunity. And big moment for the youngster Abegna, and he will remember this scalp for a long, long time, getting rid of Colin Munro.
Boy, ball outside the line of off. For me, what creates this opportunity is the angle. The angle, right arm over the wicket to the left-hander. So that automatically creates a natural angle going across him. And it was a wide delivery, so it even exaggerated that angle, or I should say exacerbated that angle. And it does find the outside edge, and a big scalp, as you mentioned. He's going to think about this one and talk about it for the next 30 or so years.
Look at how young Abegna is. And Colin Munro, he's going to tell his friends. I mean, I dare say at school, because he looks too young to me. So, but
no
he'll
question.
be talking about it. That is for sure. Whether at school or college, but he'll be telling his friends that he got the wicket of Colin Munro.
No question. So the new batter in Fawad Alam. If you've never seen Fawad Alam bat, you're in for a treat. If for no other reason than the fact it looks like the bowler is coming from Brian Kane at square leg, because that's the direction he faces when the bowler is coming into bat. Oh, when the bowler is coming in. So look how square on he, in fact, how open he is. He really does look like he's facing Brian Kane at square leg instead of the bowler coming down. This is, of course, Abegna Vijayapurapu. First delivery. Stroke to mid-wicket, no run there.
Typical Fawad Alam.
Yeah.
I have the good pleasure of seeing him play, and see him play long innings quite often. But this is how he starts off, and you would, like Brian said, if you haven't seen him before, you would think, how on earth is this possible to bat, let alone for a guy who's carved a career. About 13,000 first-class runs. As this one, he lets it go. Wide delivery there. The youngster probably being put off by the stance of Fawad Alam. You can see it's 5 extras.
Yeah, he's not going to want to see that one. I suspect that one will not make it into the Facebook post from the game today. Certainly the results of the very first ball in this over would. But he just gets the line wrong here. Firing this one down, in fact, not down the leg side, too far outside the line of off. And 5 bonus runs. You don't need to give bonus runs to the Kingsmen X. They are an absolutely power-packed side. But now, 3 deliveries, make that 4 deliveries remaining here in over number 3. Worked into the leg side for a single. You've seen Fawad Alam bat for a really long time. A question I would ask you would be, if you were a coach and you have a player who looks in some ways unorthodox, do you try to coach them out of that, or do you simply just help accept the results that you get from that player?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it had been a debate for a very long time, and I think now the conclusion has been reached that if a player has a certain style, allow him to do that, be it a bowler or a batter. Because if you want to turn everyone into a textbook player, they'll all be the same.
It's an interesting thought, because, for example, I would put Shiv Chandapal in the same class as Fawad Alam in terms of being unorthodox yet just extremely effective. In terms of bowlers, somebody like Sohail Tanvir, who sort of plants the foot at the same time that he delivers, very unorthodox
Yeah.
fashion. But if you're getting the results, then you should probably not worry about the exact method.
Exactly like I said, and the world would never have seen the likes of Sohail Tanvir. You mentioned Lasit Malinga or even the great Muralidharan. So let them do what they're doing, and at the same time, you can fine tune and work very closely with how they want their game to change. And like Brian said, at the end of the day, the result that counts. And if they're coming up with the goods, it don't really matter how they do it. 29 for 1 after 3. One delivery to go? No.
So 3 overs up, 29 runs on the board. Currently scoring at the rate of exactly 9.67 and over. And the fact that they need 13, or in 13 overs, they need to score another 119 runs. Make that in, my apologies, 3 overs bowled. So in 17 overs, they need to score another 119 runs. That means they need to score the Kingsman X at the exact rate of 7 runs and over. Shayan Jahangir at the non-striker's end. He is 11 from 9. Fawad Alam, who's now facing us, is 2 from 3.
Quick call. These two are very quick runners. Fawad Alam obviously supremely fit still, and he's a very, very good runner. And so is Shayan Jahangir. The interesting thing that I'm going to tell you about Fawad Alam when he gets back on strike, he's really fussy with the side screen and its positioning and its movements around it. And I don't think none of these side screens are big enough for him, but he knows there is no option, so you won't see him complain. But there are some really funny stories about him and side screen as
well, spanked away for 4. I will tell you this. This is less of a pull and more of a thick under edge because Shayan Jahangir played that shot in anger. If he elevates that the way that he was trying to, that probably ends up on field number 4. As it is, he only gets 4 runs for it.
Yeah, he was aiming for 6. There's no doubt about it. Towards mid-wicket, and then that thick edge just rolled all along the ground towards square leg. Just past the square leg umpire. Look at that. He didn't roll the wrist on it like you would say on a typical pull shot.
No.
He was looking to go over.
No question.
Probably didn't bounce as much as he expected. That square leg fielder now has been moved squarer, just behind square, the popping line. This one once again looking for that big hit. There's no half measures in terms of Shayan Jahangir today. Although he can play correct. He's a very, very technically correct player.
He can play correct. He wants to take on the bowling. His natural mindset is to dominate the bowling. So he's playing within himself right now. He has 3 from 4, make that 15 from 11. Fawad Alam with 3 from 4. But I'm looking for Shayan Jahangir to essentially try to dominate. Full toss and it gets hammered. That's not where he wants that delivery. And Akil Poza knows that he needs to get that ball pitching on the stumps or maybe just outside the line of off stump, short of driving length. This is a rank full toss on leg stump that gets put away for 4.
Once again, give a little bit of credit to Shayan Jahangir because the way he's coming after the bowling, it does put the bowler under pressure and put him off his length as well. Trying to do something extra. And in doing so, he gave a freebie to Shayan, and he's just too good a player to miss out on those, especially in power play with no protection in the deep.
I'm interested and intrigued edge. He'll get a couple, but that's interesting. So the youngster, Akil Posa, looking to take on Shane Jahangir with a short delivery. Never expected that he would challenge him in that way. Gets away with it.
It's 40 for 1. Uh-oh. I was dreading that picture. Do not do that to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this that you see here is an absolutely lovely, nice, soft blanket
Well, I
that
had to
great
get it.
Shah Faisal has to be wearing. Blustering.
Thank you.
Thanks for nothing, Roddy Lalman, SC Tekken Productions, who wants the world to see how cleverly bundled up Shah Faisal is.
And now that, well, it's again Shah Jahangir on strike after that single on the last delivery. Yeah, we got to stay warm here, Brian. It's a sudden change. Even though yesterday was raining,
Yep.
we still didn't feel the need of these layers. Chance confusion there. Direct hit would have had him. Chad Hamilton was really scrambling. He only was like 5 yards away from the stumps, but he missed the stumps. That would be an interesting replay if you get it from the angle. Shah Jahangir wasn't interested, but then Fawad was coming. He saw him come, and then in the end, he had to go back. Fawad refused the single. Look, Fawad was the one who initiated. Then he stopped. And that meant Jahangir was stranded, literally.
Very athletic piece of work. This is great camera work, by the way. And there you see, not even in the frame, he would have been gone.
That is great work from our production team as well.
Oh, no question. So we do have the scorecard right now. That is the end of over number 4, 40 for 1.
This
Back
is
to
what
live action. Working this one. First delivery from over number 5 into the deep. Goes away for a single. Abigna Vijayapurapu starting his third over. 1 for 17 are his figures so far.
Yeah, he
Make
got
that 1 for 18.
Yeah, he got the wicket off Colin Munro.
Yes.
And this is what Fawad Alam will do all day long, though. Just hit the ball in the gap and run. And before you know it, he gets his innings started. He's very good square of the wicket. When he does get an opportunity, he'll put the bad ball away. But until that, he'll just put the balls in the gap and just run hard. He may not look the prettiest of players, but probably he's very, very effective.
Hammered wide of mid-on, that runs away for 4. So again, Shah Jahangir is going to be looking to dominate, take on the bowlers, and he drags this one. Not the most elegant of shots, but it's more the intent. And getting that one away, racing to the boundary for 4.
It's almost a hack. Yeah, not one of his prettiest shots. Just that bottom hand coming into play.
Yep.
Bat turning in his hand at the point of impact. That meant it wasn't a solid connection, but again, that boundary down there is just 50 yards. Shayan is keeping the scoreboard moving. 25 of 15. And I don't think he's going to play any differently.
He does not care what the situation is. He just wants to dominate. Hammered away for 4 more. Is it? No. Great work in the deep. That fielder running around from long off did not have very far to travel, but that ball was struck with such force that he had to get the dive in at the last second to limit the damage.
In complete contrast to the previous one, this was a textbook style drive, but look at that fielding effort. Like Brian said, that boundary is short, and it was really traveling. Despite the fielder only had to cover like 4 or 5 yards, still done well. And now Fawad Alam on strike, and when he does take strike from this angle, you would see that he's...
Goodness, look at that.
So the way he's facing, I've seen him complain to the umpire about the side screen. Even somebody was moving towards wide of mid-off where he's facing now. So that far, and I remember in one of the games, the medical staff, they had put their tent towards wide of mid-off to where he was facing, and he just complained, and he had to move them out of the side. And here, there's literally no side screen behind him, because the side screen that we will see, if we do get a chance to see, is covering for the other field.
Yep.
But generally he's, and also multiple times, even if you're on a second story and he's batting, he'll just have to ask you to move from there.
On the second story.
Do not like any movement in and around that side screen. But that is probably a different level here. Like I said, he has no options, so he has to carry on.
Oh, looks for the big hit. Doesn't exactly get control of it. 6 runs from that over. One hard, well-struck delivery. But overall, a really good over bowled here by Abhigna Vijayapurapu. That is the end of over number 5, 46 for 1.
One hard! Good boy.
46 for 1. 102 required in 15 overs. 6.8 is not the run rate that it will scare the modern day batter, especially players of this category that are on show for the Kingsman X. Nasir Khan played a cameo with the bat. Is now into the attack. Take that. Welcome to the bowling crease. Shayan Jahangir has thumped him down the ground for a 6.
Shayan Jahangir has seen enough. 26 from 16. Before that delivery, now this next ball in the slot has to be said, and drilled it down the ground. Once again, we're not talking about very big boundaries. And Shayan Jahangir just lofting this over the top for his first 6. But he's always going to be very aggressive. Nasir Khan has to be careful here.
Goes for that Yorker. Good comeback. Like I just mentioned, Atlanta Force, they're fighting for this total to defend, and Nasir Khan had a huge role in getting them that far, who played that little cameo in the end. But his day job is with the ball, and a couple of wickets here could really bring his team back in the game, especially the way Shayan Jahangir is playing. They need to get rid of him as soon as they can. Fawad Alam, for now, he's struggling, but that's the way he built his innings.
Well, Nasir Khan, as you said, his day job is with the ball. Looking to see what he can do here to be able to challenge the Kingsman X. What I mean by that is make them actually have to work to win this match. See if you can drag it into over 16, 17, 18.
Fawad Alam was advancing down the wicket. That was a pre-planned shot, it looked like it, because the line was too wide, given as such. But to do that, what what you're saying, Brian, for them to do that, to drag that game into over number 16, 17, 18, they need to keep Fawad Alam on strike for now until he hasn't get settled in just yet. And to do that, they have to stop that single inside the 30-yard ring. Poor delivery. Wrong line. And that wonderful effort is enough to stop the ball inside the field of play. That's great effort. And that's the kind of effort they would need. But Nasir Khan, once again, erratic.
Yeah, the line was wrong. I don't mind the change of pace, but you got that one going down the leg side. But look at that effort put in there by Akil Posa, running back, maybe sprinting about 30 yards and diving to stop that one just a handful of inches inside the rope at deep fine leg. That's the type of fielding that you need when you're defending a low score.
Fawad Alam looking at umpire Brian, asking for that wide. That wasn't wide enough, says umpire Brian. And Chad Hamilton working overtime behind the stumps, looking to get those angles correct. Like I said, I think he also realizes that they need to keep Fawad Alam on the strike as much as they can. Probably try and frustrate Shayan and starve him of strike. There you go. That's good work. That's good fielding there. You could see from here that anticipation was there, and as soon as that ball hit the bat and pad, fielder from cover was quickly into it, and that prevented the run. That's good cricket from Atlanta Force.
Absolutely. You can tell that they're a very well coached side. Again, we keep making the point. It's a David versus Goliath matchup, and if the Kingsmen go on a tear, score 15 runs and over from here and win it in, over number 6 or 16 or 17, that's what's supposed to happen because they're that much stronger a side. But this Atlanta Force side has the basics right. Feeling like tigers in the field, and the ball is generally bowled in the right lines and lengths.
Nice wrist work, but again, more good fielding. In fact, splendid fielding. Just moving quickly across, and then that dive at full stretch. That is absolutely sensational.
Brilliant work. Diving attempt and make sure that the ball does not get through. And so I'll tell you, you essentially at this stage, 7 overs up, make that, 6 overs up, apologies. The score is 57 for 1.
In this couple of good fielding efforts in the last over, this one as well, there was good anticipation there. And it's very unusual for us to be square on, but it gives us a complete different picture to the whole field. That's why we could see that anticipation that I talked about and the athleticism on the last delivery as well. Side on, you get a better idea of how quickly the fielders are picking up the ball, hitting the bat and getting into the move, into the stride. Because that anticipation is really key. That does save you that extra split second for you to get closer and then make that all-important save.
So we'll get a chance to look at that piece of fielding again. Again, when you're defending a low score, you have to feel like tigers in the field. Look at this. Driven into the offside, sprinting on, immediately picking up and making sure that the batters know that you don't have the opportunity to get that single. And so it's the type of effort that is needed in the field. And what that does is builds pressure. And of course, both of these batters, of course, have absorbed pressure their entire careers. But you bowl in such a way that you have dot balls, and you help create dot balls by excellent fielding. So that has sort of an additive effect, and that puts you in the position of being able to limit the scoring.
And you see Fawad Alam, but you know, in a funny way, you see Fawad Alam struggling, but this is how he plays. And as a matter of fact, you'd see the effect of these dot balls probably more on Shayan Jahangir than Fawad.
Interesting.
That is a funny way of looking at it, but I have a feeling it may be the case.
This one is hammered away into the deep, though. Pretty much a hit-me ball, has to be said. Opening up his shoulders and slamming that wide of mid-on. Fawad Alam gets his first boundary, up now to 11 from 16 faced.
Yeah, that's the greatest strength of Fawad Alam, is that he takes the previous ball out of the system very quickly. It's just that next ball, that's all he's thinking about. Despite looking ungainly for the first 3 deliveries, when he got the opportunity, he absolutely smashed it for 4. And his innings will progress like that. Although, he'll be disappointed because this is his area, and 2 deliveries in this over, he couldn't find the gap and hit it straight to the fielder, square off the wicket on the offside.
Another 87 runs needed from 79 balls. So that scoring rate, meaning the required rate, it is at 6.61. So it's actually going up a little bit. And then the actual scoring rate is coming down.
Another solid thump, just a single. That would mean that Shayan Jahangir will be stopped of strike again at the beginning of next over.
Yep.
He hasn't seen strike for a while now. 7 gone, 62 for 1.
This is going to be Romario King taking up the attack from the southern end of the ground. Bowling to Fawad Alam, 12 from 18 with a 1-4. And I think you mentioned that essentially you have a caged tiger on the other end. 33 from 18, 5 4s and a 6 is what Shayan Jahangir's numbers look like. He has been starved of the strike, as you mentioned, and I think that is going to create the situation that when he does get the strike, he may be looking to go big.
Look at him at the non-striker end, pacing around.
Yes.
The caged tiger, that's the right word that you use. He's thinking. He's thinking, Fawad bhai, please give me the strike. Get a single.
And look at the difference in strike rate. They have faced the same number of balls, 18 each. Fawad Alam has 12, Shayan Jahangir is 33. So he's striking at almost 3 times the strike rate of Fawad Alam.
Romario King is at the bowling crease. Fawad would feel he'd missed out on a full toss, hit it straight to long off. Now Shayan gets his chance.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Because I really do get the sense. Again, he's a natural hitter of the cricket ball, naturally very aggressive, but not having had strike in several deliveries now, I think you're going to see him look to go big here. Particularly because it's a new bowler and he wants to essentially establish his dominance from the first ball.
The wind has really picked up again. Blustery conditions here at the Paramweer Cricket Complex. By looking at your screens, you'd see it's beautiful and sunny. There's not a cloud in the sky. Shayan has gone for it. They are still appealing. Shayan on the way. Just tells the bowler, it hit me on my shoulder, young man.
Now look at this. The wind is coming again from the north, really from the northwest. So if Cheyenne Jahangir elevates the ball from this direction, it is going to be helped by the wind. So he doesn't need help clearing the boundaries. Again, they're relatively small boundaries. But I'm almost certain that if he elevates the ball in that direction, he will get it into those trees over there at deep mid-wicket.
Some bounce there for Romario King. Cheyenne Jahangir's attacking shot, the attempted attacking shot, ball lifted and hit him on the shoulder from a length.
Romario King bowling well here. Just 3 deliveries and 3 runs, one of which was a leg by. Excellent bowling again. Just forced down the ground for a single.
They would like to take wickets in this period. Over number 7 to 14. Just make some inroads. Get that required rate up. Fawad goes big, but just short of long off for another single. Just singles in this over so far. 3 singles, 4 singles rather, and a leg by. So that's a run of every delivery. For now, that's all that Kingsman X need. I'm pretty sure Jahangir is not content with that. Before this over is called.
As of right now, the required rate, 6.66.
Be there again.
Oh, cheeky. Absolutely cheeky. Cheyenne Jahangir, well, you expect him to be brutal, banging the ball down the ground, this time stepping inside the line, and that little paddle sweep runs away for 4.
He wasn't going to let the over go quietly. Just a nice touch there. He has this to his game as well, to go with the power that he possesses. That was very clever.
End of over number 8, 71 for 1.
$71 for 1. A little bit of relief from the wind, just momentarily, but very well taken. It is a pleasant day otherwise, Brian.
It is absolutely pleasant. So picture where we are now, 24 hours later. This is Nasik Khan coming back for his second.
The rhythm.
Great cover. And by the way, we're talking about the weather. Look what a difference 24 hours can make. Not a cloud in the sky. 360 degrees of sunshine. But speaking of degrees, it's about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And that wind, it's deceptive. It's extremely cold. And I'll tell you, the conditions are such that if you're on the field of play, I think things have calmed down enough. It's good for batting, good for bowling. And it's almost very deceptive in that you're warm. You're essentially in the position where you're able to play without much interference from the conditions. But if you're not on the field of play, then you wear a nice red blanket wrapped around you that you just happen to have in your vehicle.
That I was lucky. As Fawad gets another single, and we just saw that shot of the weather, the absolute beautiful blue sky, and this is perfect setting. There's so much greenery around, and these fields are also a picture. Look at that, absolutely stunning backdrop as well, and that blue sky. And this is a wonderful addition in the infrastructure for cricket in this area, this Paramveer Cricket Complex. And obviously this Atlanta Open T20 gives an opportunity to players from all over the country to come and experience the flavor of cricket here. Third edition of Atlanta Open. And each year it's gone bigger and better. And long may it continue.
Long may it continue indeed, as this ball is outside the line of off umpire Judson Edwards, asking young Nasik Khan to reball that one. But you talk about development. In this area of the country, there's a fair amount of cricket that's being played, but the conditions are such that the standards have been lifted. I'll explain what I mean by that in a second.
Jahangir uses the width to good advantage. Couple of bounces into the point boundary. That is the boundary he was looking for. Boundary in every over. In fact, it's gone all the way. And not quite. Well, initially I thought it bounced inside, but then I thought probably I judged Brian's eyesight a bit better because it was into the wind.
That's never a good thing to rely on my eyesight. I was only going by what umpire Judson Edwards signaled, but then immediately changed the signal to a 4.
No question about that. Fielder is lining it up, and he's dropped it. This one get held in the wind, I think, and probably he's saying that he didn't see it. The fielder signaling to his captain. But it is too late for whatever has happened. A reprieve for Shayan Jahangir.
Well, look at this replay. I think you will see that it was judged to perfection. So I don't know that the sun has anything to do with this. He was right there and then actually caught it, but then bobbled it over the rope. Goes away for 6. So flurry of runs all of a sudden.
Incredible sequence of events in the last 2 deliveries.
Yeah.
That really sounded sweet, and I thought it was going to go, but it gets held up in the wind, and the fielder probably one eye on the rope behind him.
Sure.
Like you said, he judged it to perfection, but when it came to catching, it just bobbled out of his hands. Opportunity came and went for Atlanta Force, and the Kingsman X progressing nicely, 83 for 1. We have to admit that when this matchup came, we didn't think it will be that competitive for that long.
No.
All the credit to Atlanta Force. They've made this a very competitive and very watchable game. They did make a few mistakes here and there in the field. Other than that, it would be even more close, and probably we would be sitting at 50-50 at this stage as it is. Kingsman X have their noses in front, but still, like I said, it's been a very watchable game in terms of the contest between the two sides.
You're absolutely right. Now this is Rishi Pandey into the attack for the first time. Right arm orthodox spinner. Once again, the orthodox spinner bowling to Shayan Jahangir, who would be turning it into him. Look out at deep mid wicket.
Go straight. Couldn't find the gap. Long off is pretty straight. Chad being very experienced, and he's in the best position in the field to get the angles right. most of his sweepers, he's got their angles right, especially with tricky boundary dimensions. There's some big boundaries and some very short ones. That does really test your skill as a captain.
Someone has paddled around the corner for a single, and I know you can hear the exhortations from the Atlanta Force. Let's call it the fan club.
You do expect that, and you do see a lot of this in cricket in and around Atlanta. Huge Caribbean fraternity who plays and enjoys cricket in these parts, and they bring that typical Caribbean flair to it, even from the stands. Not just the players, but the spectators and supporters. Very passionate.
Oh my goodness, it's spectacular. The atmosphere, very, I will say, very Jamaican. First of all, that voice that you're hearing is definitely a Jamaican's voice. So, tossed up.
Looking for two now, looking for two. Chance at the strikers, and the throw is slightly wider. The wicketkeeper had to drag it all the way from quite a height, and in that, I think it allowed Fawad Alam to come back and complete the second run. It will be a very, very interesting replay.
Yeah,
I still think that throw did make the difference, which was slightly high and wide.
You're absolutely right. And a throw that was right next to the stumps probably would have been more threatening. But you see there, absolutely, Chad Hamilton having to reach back. And this is another angle here. Having to reach back there. And that's good camera work. The throw that is more toward the stumps would have been, I think, more challenging. Drilled over the top of extra cover for 4.
Typical Fawad Alam. He would look ungainly for most parts, but when you provide him with the opportunity, he will punish you. And punish he did. Rishi Pandey, 2 full, 2 wide, allowed Fawad to open his shoulders, and that went to the fence like a tracer bullet. This spectator on the hill here, seeing the, that's a good vantage point. Goes big. There's a big shout there. The running has not been very coherent between these two. Once again, confusion. A little word between the two players.
Well, we're into the second half of the match, of the innings, so the last quarter of the match, if you will. Looking at the replay, attacking the stumps, looking to force this over the top, hitting him high. I think that might have even, certainly above the knee roll, that might have even hit him on the thigh pad. So a dot ball, though, an important dot ball. Nasir Khan into his third over. Cut away over the top. Shahin Jahangir gets the room that he needs and opens up his shoulders, cuts this away for 6. Lovely strike over points.
He's moving around the crease, trying to put off the bowler, and the youngster fell in the trap. Look at Shahin Jahangir's feet. He went back in his crease, and that was short and wide. He didn't really was looking to hit it hard, just timed it, creamed it, and 6. It went all the way. I didn't think he hit it that well. But it carried a long way. And in the background, you see, there's some celebrations going on. That's field 1, where Masters Cricket are playing.
There he goes again. That's going to be 6 more. This is hit with more flourish. I said earlier that the previous delivery, not a whole lot of flourish. Well, maybe I didn't say it, but I certainly thought it. Not much flourish in the shot. This one, he gives it the full treatment, extending his arms and absolutely hammering this one away for 6 more.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This time he gave it the full Mountie. And the result was the same. And we're moving very quickly with this target. 2 6s from Shayan Jahangir. Closes out. Is it? No, it's not over yet. No, we're just looking for that ball because it went further away. 105 for 100 has been brought up, and Shayan is batting on 62.
But didn't even acknowledge number 1, the 50 for Shayan Jahangir, and then number 2, the 100 for the side. But Shayan Jahangir, you expect is going to be somebody who, again, we've said it a couple of times already, likes taking the attack to the opposition. In the air, this may be 6 more. Let's see. No, just lands in front. Oh, look at that work. Look at that work by, again, Akil Posa. Beautiful piece of work. Diving. Look at the effort. Sprinting 20 yards to his left and absolutely pulling that one back. They get 2 runs, but the bigger issue there is the 2 that they did not get.
Well, the interesting thing will be when you see this, probably we'll get a good view of it as well, because when he pulled the ball back, he himself was in the air and outside the boundary.
Absolutely.
And that ball was kept in field of play, and that's a dismissal. That's what good fielding does. He saved the boundary, kept Shayan on strike, and on that occasion he hit it straight to long on. This time the opportunity was taken. He had a reprieve a couple of overs ago in the same position, but now he has to go back. And a very well earned wicket for the Atlanta Force. Shayan, after playing a very, very good knock, has gone for 64.
Well, I think you mentioned it. This is what good fielding does. It makes you think, even though you're not necessarily chasing a really big score, you're only needing to go at 4.47 and over. But Shayan Jahangir might have been put off by the fact that the previous delivery that should have gone for 4 was saved. Great piece of work in the deep by Akil Posa. And then that just induced a false shot. Got a full toss, has to be said. Usually Shayan Jahangir puts those away without much fuss. But this time only getting that one down the ground where the fielder at long on takes a pretty straightforward catch. To the wicket, James Vince has looking to make sure that he gets something going in terms of continuing the momentum. But again, you don't need a whole lot from here. 4.47 and over shouldn't be that challenging. But look how the Atlanta Force are fighting with now just 1 ball remaining in this over. Short delivery. That's a good ball. Going past the outside edge. And just James Vince keeping everything out of the way, the gloves and the bat. Great over in terms of the ability to take a wicket. 15 runs coming from the over. It's expensive from that standpoint, but you'll take the wicket. At the end of 11, the score is 107 for 2. So 107 for 2. Scoring rate required of 4.56 and over, you don't think would cause much trouble. But you don't get to 10 wickets before taking the third. So let's see what they're able to manufacture here as Rishi Pandey has the ball in hand again, bowling to Fawad Alam. Fawad Alam 24 from 28 with 2 boundaries. Looking to sweep.
Ooh, that was rolling back towards his stumps, wasn't it?
Interesting. I want to take a look at that again if we could. Ball with a little bit of backspin. He was well in front. That front foot well down in front of the crease, but that backswing generated means that the ball spun back towards the stumps in the meantime, but just lofting this one easily to extra cover. And I don't know whether or not we can see that again, the previous delivery. Here we go. Look at this.
It looked like it ran off the back of the bat, and Fawad wasn't aware of it. I think when he saw Chad Hamilton with interest, I think that's where he realized, that was a close shave.
Interesting. Now, you are allowed as a batter to use your bat to prevent the ball from hitting the stumps. Now, if the ball is not threatening the stumps and you hit the ball with the bat the second time, you can be out, hit the ball twice. That is a legitimate way of being out. But if the ball is strictly back toward the stumps, you are certainly allowed to use your bat again to prevent the ball from.
Another funny thing that I want to mention, James Vince, again from UK. They play in a lot cooler weather than this. But taking the liberty here to wear a hoodie, which we normally see here. Our local players do that when the weather gets.
Wanted to, and it goes away for 4, but that ball actually burst through the hands of the fielder at short extra cover. That may have been, yes, a drop, but a spectacular piece of fielding and a great attempt.
Yeah, it wasn't that straightforward. I mean, it was struck very, very well.
Yep.
And it was low and away to his left. That meant that thing that we didn't expect of them, but the youngsters have really held their ground, and I'm really happy for that, because we've seen a wonderful game of cricket between a very strong and a very young, talented side.
Put it this way, nobody will remember a year from now who won this game. Everybody who watches this will remember the individual scores and the fact that Abhigna Vijayapura will remember that he dismissed the opening batter, Colin Monroe. Those the rest of the
international players on strike, and Vince, the way he was shaping up last time, will look to go big. Not if Rishi Pandey can produce a turning and bouncing delivery like that on a length. And that is a dot ball to finish off the over. 114 for 2.
$114 for 2, and I have to say that those of us who are in the commentary area cannot wait for the next either 34 runs or 8 wickets, because my goodness, it is absolutely frigid out here. A little bit of a delay does not help things here in the commentary area.
You need to speed it up, guys. Come on.
At this point, I don't care if there are 6 straight sixes or 8 straight wickets. I don't care. We just need to get out of these conditions.
Let me give the break the bad news for you, Brian.
Uh-oh.
It's neither going to be 6 or 8 deliveries. It's going to be slightly longer than that. Either way, so let's just brave it for a little longer.
So, this is going to be Aryan Thamala. Again, played for the Dallas Mustangs in the minor leagues. So he has a championship medal to hang around his neck. Different assignment here. He will be asked to bowl his off breaks to 2 international batters. Now bowling to Fawad Alam, 30 from 32 with 3 boundaries. As you mentioned, he is more likely to be the one pushing the ball around, so you expect that his strike rate will be right at or around 100. But if you get one too straight, which is what this one is, it gets pulled in the deep. But look at that work. Those fielders are, again, fielding like tigers. And you really like seeing the effort that these youngsters are putting in, making the Kingsman X fight till the very last ball.
Yeah, the amount of effort Atlanta Force have put in, that is the biggest takeaway for me from this game. Look at that effort. Sensational. Once again, great ball follow as well for our cameraman as well. Wonderful pictures we've been able to bring to you thanks to our director Rodil Alman and his very able camera crew.
And it's not uncommon to hear the fielders sledging the batter. Slightly less common to hear the spectators sledging the batter. Reverse sweep is what he goes for. I don't know that I'd ever expect to see James Vince playing a reverse sweep on the 4th ball that he faced.
James Vince is one of the more orthodox, classical, stylish batters, even in this format.
Correct. Look at this, goes off the back foot and right into the lap of Long On, who puts it down. Aryan Thamala should have had a wicket, but he is let down by his fielder at Long On. I believe that is Nasik Khan, who would want to have that one to do all over again.
Look, he's been demoted because he's been replaced.
Suffering the ignominy of being replaced by a fielder who the captain would think would have more sure hands. Shah Faisal, has that ever happened to you? Because I have a story for you in a second.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I wasn't one of the greatest fielder, but it didn't happen to me, I have to be honest. I mean, I was pretty safe. I wasn't outstanding, but I was pretty safe. So, no, I didn't feel that embarrassment on a cricket field.
I will tell you in just a second. 2002.
Oh, was that 5 runs? It hit the cap.
Did it?
Did it? I thought it did.
Missed it. No signal from either umpire, so we'll see if that happened here. Let's see. Oh, might have just missed.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, it was not already. If he had intentionally taken it off his head, then it would have been eligible for the 5. I don't think it happens if it happens inadvertently. In the air, another catch. And this one is taken. Well, it appears as though James Vince had a plane to catch, because first the reverse sweep, then the catch to Long On, now the catch to Long Off. The 3rd one is the one that takes the cake. James Vince is dismissed 2 from 6. The score is 117 for 3.
Let's see, he saved the best for the rest of the tournament in bigger games. This one hand coming off of the handle, and it didn't clear the fence. Gave one opportunity too many, and gleefully accepted. Looks like it's Rishi Pandey down there.
Yep.
And Aryan deserved that wicket, which eventually he got it.
Oh, no question. So my quick story. 2002, I am playing in a double wicket tournament.
Oh.
The Houston Cricket League supplies the fielders. International players are the batters and the bowlers. Sri Lanka and Pakistan. The bowler for Sri Lanka he's currently an umpire. What is his name?
Dharmasena.
Kumar Dharmasena.
Dharmasena.
I'm fielding at Long On. It is in the Astrodome in Houston. So there are lights all the way around. The ball goes in the lights. I lose it. The ball hits me on the palm. I drop the catch. Dharmasena immediately repositions me to fine leg.
Oh.
I hang my head in shame. There's probably 5,000 people in the stands. Worst moment of my cricketing life.
Oh. That is not nice of him, Mr. Dharmasena. You don't do that. You should be happy that they're fielding for you.
That is the end of the over. I will go drown my sorrows in hopefully some hot coffee. 13 up, 117 for 3.
I like it. Welcome back. Just picking up from the story that Brian just mentioned. He's just told me off air that the Pakistani pair was the great Wasim Akram.
Yep.
And Boom Boom Afridi.
Boom Boom himself.
And let me tell you something, Brian.
All right.
That you should be absolutely proud to be on the same field as those legends.
Yes.
So forget about that drop catch and everything else that happened. Being there itself.
Oh, clearly it was 21 years ago and I haven't forgotten about it yet, so I probably never will.
Being on that same field, I would take it any day as we see this full toss smashed away. Fawad Alam, slowly but surely he progresses his innings and he finds boundary on every given opportunity. A low full toss provided him with another one.
Yeah, that was just tossed up, low full toss, big gap between mid-wicket and long on. Fawad Alam exploiting it to perfection. Oh, interesting. Lost it into the deep again. Just one run this time as extra cover comes around and makes sure that he restricts the runs. So a little bit of confusion around. Again, there is always going to be enthusiasm at a cricket tournament, and I think the organizers are just wanting to make sure that everyone operates within the parameters of what they expect. So we'll say less about that and more about what's going on the field right now as Fawad Alam, 37 from 36, 122 for 3 is the score.
And it, I think, went underneath his bat. It's a ripping leg break. It dropped on him very quickly.
Wow.
That is some delivery. Ravi Bopara looking at the bottom of his bat. But it's too late for that. Got to tell your story walking. Ravi, you got a duck here. And another famous moment from this game for the Atlanta Force youngsters. Karnik has got the wicket. 122 for 3 now, Kingsman X.
Well, 122 for 4. 3 delivers remaining in over number 14. As I said, if you are the Atlanta Force, all you'll need is for them to drag things toward, make the Kingsman X have to work for the wicket, for the victory rather.
Slight discrepancy as well with the scorecard. This is Rishi Pandey. Obviously, we've seen him bowl. That right arm leg spin of him going through the defenses of Ravi Bopara. And Rishi, to go with his good batting performance, is making a contribution with the ball as well.
So look at this. 4 runs and over required, so that's not a concern, but 4 wickets are down. 39 balls remaining, and they need 26 runs, Kingsman X. So again, you're just wanting to put yourself in a position where you're allowing for a more day. 1.3 overs, 1 for 15. You saw the dismissal just now. Looking to see what more success he can find with the ball as the Kingsman X are being made to work. Wrapped on the pad. Umpire Brian Kane shaking his head. Imagine this thing getting a good stride in. I think that's what would have caused Brian Kane to make that decision.
Once again, that flighted delivery. This time it was a wrong one. That front stride really saved Tejinder. This is what confidence does to you. Rishi is really feeling confident to throw that ball up.
Oh, yes.
And got the wicket of Bopara. He'll be feeling really good about himself.
This one he pushes through more quickly, though. Good variety. Excellent bowling. 5 runs coming from the over and the wickets. 26 needed from the last 36. 122 for 4. So Aryan Tamala, apologies. 1 over bowled, 1 for 3. Excellent bowling. Now bowling to Fawad Alam. Interesting. Just dropping it into that short third area, and they run through for a single. Fawad Alam doing exactly what you said that he would do here. Just nerdling the ball around and picking up singles where he can. You don't expect for him to be a big hitter necessarily, but just to keep the scoreboard ticking.
And also unperturbed by what's happening at the other end. He's lost 3 partners, 3 big names, but nothing will faze him. This is his biggest strength. He stays in his own zone, his own bubble, and it's very hard to get into that bubble.
Struck down the ground. Tamala, I've seen him play, of course, the last couple of times I've seen him play has been in the youth tournament in Houston, which makes you remember that these are actual U17, U18 type age players, and they're up against senior professional players. It is amazing that they have dragged this game all the way to where it is right now. So you only need another 25 runs, make that 24 runs if you are the Kingsman X. So in all likelihood, unless something absolutely earth-shattering happens, you're going to win this game easily. But kudos to the Atlanta Force, excuse me, for fighting as much as they have. Some great individual efforts and dragging this game as long as they have. This one just dropped down into the leg side. They may come back for a second. You mentioned it yourself, Shah Faisal, how fit Fawad Alam is. You see him plant down and then immediately sprint coming back for that second run.
Indeed he is. And picking up from what you just said, for these players to have experienced this stage so early in their career,
yes,
is another thing that they really just get back to it whenever they're in any strife. Oh, there you go. There you go. Fawad Alam. It's keeps getting better and better for Atlanta Force. And Aryan with his second wicket has gotten rid of the Kingsman X skipper Fawad Alam, who's anchoring the innings. And now half the side is back in the hut.
The set batsman goes on the back foot, Fawad Alam. The first time you see him really play a shot in anger. But look at this. This should give us a good view right here. Pulls it right to the fielder at short mid wicket. And it goes right into the... By the way, it has to be said, catching that ball under these conditions, hit that firmly, that is not easy. And it was coming to him traveling at head height. And he catches it without much fuss. A big pressure catch under the conditions. 22 runs needed. Again, you don't expect that it will cause a whole lot of strife, but it does put you in the position here where Shehan Jayasuriya coming into bat is going to understand that they keep coming.
Yeah, they keep coming. You see one big name after the other. And that is why I think that Atlanta Force, their effort has been phenomenal. You can give them as much credit as you want, because they absolutely deserve it for putting up such a wonderful fight.
My goodness. So 22 runs needed from the last 32 balls. 5 wickets are down. You absolutely love the fact that you've taken 5 wickets. Aryan Tamala is going to want to keep this ball outside the off stump to Jayasuriya. Jayasuriya, one of the more, I would say, exciting players in the minor leagues, has been for the last 3 years that he's played, and loves the reverse sweep with third and backward point inside the circle. That will always be a shot that he considers, and this time driving it into the outfield. Just a single to close things out in over number 15. But ladies and gentlemen, Aryan Tamala with an absolutely spectacular spell. 2 overs, 2 for 8. And in fact, in 2 overs, that includes 1 drop. So you could almost say that he's taken 3 wickets, even though the batter who was dropped was eventually taken. But that is the end of over number 15. 21 needed from the last 5. We'll be right back.
$127 for 5. 21 needed in 5 overs. Keep an eye on those wickets count. Another wicket. And we'll see what happens. Shehan Jayasuriya is on strike against Rishi Pandey, who's giving plenty of air to this ball and getting that nice bit of dip. Once again, the advantage of us being square on is that we can see that ball getting up in the air and then dipping right at the last minute.
Yep. Of course, you're from Pakistan and I'm from the Caribbean, so neither of us really known for expertise with spin. But seeing from this angle what you mentioned is exactly right, because you see how the ball reacts as it gets closer to the batter that you don't usually see from a straight on position.
Once again, that bottom edge not in control. Half a chance there. Sensational effort. Absolutely fabulous try. Just a little bit too much on it. But you cannot just not applaud this effort, because it was absolutely... That picture could grace any sporting newspaper of the world. That was so good, and definitely, at least it should be on a Facebook post or Insta story. You have to see, this should be one of the plays of the day.
Well, I forget we're talking about the youngsters. Old guys like you and me use Facebook. The youngsters are on Insta or whatever the other ones are. I'll leave it to the youngsters to figure out.
Yeah, I've only gone as far as Insta, so I don't know what's beyond that. Only just got into it though. So once again, dipping leg break.
Mhm.
And here we're talking about leg breaks. I mean, very fortunate that we're from a generation that we saw the great Abdul Qadir.
Mm.
And I'm sure he did tour Caribbean. So I'm sure you must have caught him at some stage. But he was a real magician before Shane Warne came along.
Yep.
Who himself took the art of leg spin to another level, the great Shane Warne. But he did consider Abdul Qadir as a master.
Mm.
Talking about two great leg spinners here. This game is not going to end in a hurry because the fight is really amazing and intense from Atlanta Force. 16 gone, 133 for 5. What do you reckon, Brian? Is this going to be the last over?
I do not think so. Aryan Tamala is bowling very well. 2.1 overs, 2 for 9 after that single. And just another 14 runs needed. I don't know that they'll score 14 runs in the next 5 balls. But whenever it is that those next 14 runs are scored, or these next 5 balls could produce 5 wickets. So there's that. But whenever it happens, we may be able to at least get ourselves into the warmth.
Do you remember how long ago it was when you said you need 8 balls for 8 wickets or 6 sixes? It seems ages ago.
Like 45 minutes ago, it feels like.
And now Shayan Jayasuriya has decided to hit a few balls in the middle of the bat before the big semi-final comes around, so he's in no hurry.
Pressure being applied here. Short extra cover in position.
Well, he does try to hit it for a boundary, but that field has been set well by Hamilton. Single is all that he could muster.
Certainly at the points in the innings now where it appears that victory is all but assured. And the only question is, in what over is it going to happen?
Well, you did ask for it to go beyond over number 16 into 17, 18th over. So
Well,
you probably will get into 18th. 3 deliveries left in this over. Sweetly struck. Splits the gap beautifully. And that went to a boundary with no time.
yeah, struck very firmly down the ground. Tajinder Singh, his first boundary. In fact, his second boundary. And right down the ground, splitting the gap between long off and long on. And gets 4 to his name. So just another 8 runs needed.
Talk about that. Some strike there. Goes all the way, and within 2 hits, the target has come down so quickly. Tajinder Singh has absolutely nailed this.
Yeah, a little bit of width offered, and look at that shot. Absolutely lovely shot. Once again, it's more timing than power, even though Tajinder Singh is a powerful striker of the ball, but he didn't need the power that time because he just struck it so sweetly over the top of extra cover. And what do you know, maybe this game does finish inside this over. Last ball coming up now, 2 runs to go.
not to be. And we will get into over number 18. This is what Brian asked a long time ago, and he's got his wish. 17 gone, 146 for 5. Will it be Rishi Pandey again with 2 to go?
It's actually Danush
yep.
Pakam.
Well, Danush hit that 1-6 towards the end of the innings. Did show potential with the bat. He was the one who actually hit that 6, and then Nasik came and bludgeoned some more. It's good to see him get an opportunity with the ball.
Yep.
Nothing much riding on the game now. But this has been a very, very good game. As Sanjay Surya creams this through the gap. That will be the winning runs as well. Kingsman X, who started out as favourites, have achieved the victory, but they were made to work really hard by the youngsters of Atlanta Force. The experienced Jay Surya hitting the winning runs, and that is the end of this quarterfinal here at Field 2. Kingsman X progressing to semi-final, but commiseration to Atlanta Force. They should keep their heads high because they put up a brave fight.
They absolutely did. So quick look at the scorecard. Shan Jahangir at the top, setting the tone, 64 from 31. Colin Monroe, 11 from 6. He'll be disappointed with that, as will James Vince and Ravi Bopara, 2 and 0 respectively. Pawad Alam steadied the ship in the middle of the innings, 40 from 39. Then Tejinder Singh coming in toward the back end along with Shehan Jayasuriya to apply the finishing touches.
The bowling, there was some good performances there. Abhigna got the wicket of Colin Monroe, but then Aryan got 2 wickets. That's James Vince and Fawad Alam, big scalps, the wickets that he will remember. Rishi also bowled well. He got himself a wicket. Nasik also got a wicket. And all in all, this was a great effort, and the work in the field was sensational from Atlanta Force. They only gave away 8 extras as well. That tells you that they had good discipline. And here is the match summary, the way it looks. Atlanta Force making 147 very competitive runs. Waghela with an attractive half-century contributions from Nasik and Rishi Pandey. Wickets for Bopara and Ziaul Haq. Shahan Jahangir's half-century. And then little contributions from Fawad Alam and Tejinder Singh saw Kingsman X over the line. 2 wickets there for Aryan and a wicket apiece for Abhigan and Rishi Pandey. Kingsman X winning by 5 wickets to progress through to the semi-final. I hope you enjoyed our coverage. Plenty more action coming your way with the remaining knockout games. We'll take a short break and we'll come back with the next game in just about half an hour.